Chapter 3042. Azura's Spear. Yu Song used his ultimate move as soon as the battle began. The spear pierced through the 9 heavens. Countless seas of blood surged, and lightning flashed in the sky. Ah! The surrounding people screamed. They did not expect Yu Song to be so decisive. He did not give Lin Xian any chance to turn the tables. The 2 judges looked at each other, and shook their heads slightly. That kid definitely won't be able to block that spear. Let's do it. The 2 of them moved and were about to make a move. However, in the next moment they were stunned. In front of them, Lin Xian looked at the incoming spear, stretched out his palm, and grabbed it. With a buzzing sound, the golden palm grabbed the Azura spear and froze in midair. What? He caught it. The 2 judges were also stunned. Their bodies floated in midair. They were stunned. The surrounding people screamed. Heavens, how did he catch it? Did Azura go easy on him? Impossible. How could Azura go easy on that kid? But how did that kid catch it? Who knows how he did it? Damn, he can actually contend with the Azura spear. This is going to be interesting. Everyone screamed in fear and disbelief. Some people even slapped their faces to wake themselves up. In short, the scene was very chaotic. Yu Song's pupils constricted. Impossible. How did you catch it? He was too shocked. Yuan Kuei almost knelt on the ground. How is that possible? In his opinion, the other party would not be able to block Azura's spear at all. Even the elder's eyeballs almost popped out. The people on the leaderboard were also very surprised. He blocked it. Xueling and the others were also surprised. It seemed that Lin Xian was still holding back his strength. Can he defeat Yu Song? He should be able to exchange a few hundred moves. Maybe he can even turn the tables. Wang Qi nodded slightly. Black Demon's face was gloomy. What is Yu Song doing? Didn't he say that he would use a powerful killing move from the beginning? His subordinates had been targeted and defeated by Lin Xian several times. Black Demon was embarrassed. Therefore he snorted coldly and was very unhappy. In the next moment he said, Yu Song, why are you still dawdling? Kill him. Black Demon's words made everyone tremble. Yes, Lord Black Demon. Yu Song quickly agreed. In the next moment his eyes turned red. Die brat! Moon Soul erupted, and the Azura spear stabbed out once more, trying to break free from Lin Xian's grasp. However, Lin Xian's palm firmly grasped the Azura spear, as if he had grasped the snake's weak point, preventing it from escaping. A golden crescent moon appeared in his left eye. The power of the Moon Soul? Do you think you're the only one with it? Let me show you my Moon Soul. A piercingly cold light suddenly burst forth from his golden eyes, enveloping the entire sky. A shadow of a crescent moon flew out from his eyes. What? This was impossible. Everyone went crazy. He actually condensed a Moon Soul. How long had it been? And he had already condensed it. Could it be that he had been condensing the Moon Soul for the past few months? No wonder he came so late. Everyone was extremely surprised. Yu Song's pupils shrank. His opponent also had the power of the Moon Spirit. This was beyond his expectations. However, he quickly recovered. So what? His opponent had only been here for a few months. Even if he condensed the power of the Moon Soul, it would be very weak. However, he had already been at full moon peak for many years. The power of the Moon Soul that he had condensed was definitely not something that his opponent could compare to. Buzz. He activated the power of the Moon Soul with all his might. His entire being was like a god of war, sweeping across all directions. The power of the 2 Moon Souls collided in the sky. However, the golden crescent moon in Lin Xian's eyes was too terrifying. It was like a crescent moon blade, shattering all the spear lights. Then it sent the Azura spear flying. Pucci. Yu Song's body was also cut in half at the waist. Impossible. Damn it. How could the power of his moon spirit be so strong? These people were all crazy. Yu Song actually couldn't beat Lin Xian in terms of the power of the Moon Soul. How was this possible? Lin Xian had only condensed it for a few months. Moreover, looking at his opponent's appearance, he should have just condensed it. Lu Yanan snorted coldly. Just condensed it? What do you know? That kid condensed the Moon Soul in 2 hours. Do you think this kid is simple? This kid is absolutely terrifying. He is even more terrifying than He Mo and Huangfu Beitian. Because Lu Yanan saw it with her own eyes, she believed it without a doubt. The others didn't see it, and didn't dare to believe it. Condensing the moon soul in 2 hours was simply a fantasy. That was because even the marvelous Yi Gucheng from back then had taken an entire day to condense. Lin Xian's talent was better than Yi Gucheng's? What a joke. They wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. Kid, you have completely angered me. Yu Song's body reassembled in the sky. His face was pale. Azura King. With a cold shout, blood-colored runes surrounded his body. In the sea of blood, an Azura King appeared. It was a few hundred feet long, and its body was filled with blood light. The Azura King had 3 heads and 6 arms, and each hand was holding a blood-colored weapon. There was a blood sword, a blood spear, a blood saber, and a blood shield. In short, it was very terrifying. The 3 heads were even more ferocious. Kill. With an angry shout, the 3 heads and 6 arms danced quickly, shattering the entire void. The terrifying energy wanted to kill Lin Xian. You are not qualified to compete with divine powers. Lin Xian shouted coldly. The divine fire on his body surged, and he also turned into a golden giant. He waved his palms and tore the 3 heads and 6 arms apart. Yu Song's body was sent flying again, and was torn into pieces. Ah! Yu Song screamed, and his body tried to reassemble. However, the golden giant in the sky slashed down, and the newly reassembled body was split apart again. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his foot, and controlled the golden giant to step on Yu Song with 1 foot. Do you still want to fight? Lin Xian's cold voice sounded, and the scalps of the others went numb. The corners of the elders' mouths twitched, and their faces were full of shock. How could they fight? From the beginning to the end, it was a one-sided beating. Previously, they thought that Lin Xian was arrogant and pretentious, but now it seemed that was not the case. Lin Xian was not interested at all. That was because Lin Xian and Yu Song were not on the same level. Lin Xian beat Yu Song like a giant dragon beating an ant. It was very easy for him. Damn it, just what level has this kid's strength reached? Could it be that he could really challenge the Black Demon? The surrounding elites were terrified. Impossible. It was too difficult to challenge the Black Demon. They estimated that he had the strength to be in the top 10. This kid, as a newcomer, had the strength to be in the top 10. How heaven-defying. As expected of the descendant of the great dragon. This time, everyone acknowledged Lin Xian's strength and thought that he had the strength to be in the top 10. Chapter 30-43. Yu Song had no choice but to admit defeat. Otherwise, his body would be crushed. At that time, even if he did not die, he would be seriously injured. Escaping from under the golden foot, Yu Song felt like he had survived a disaster. His expression was incomparably ugly. Previously, he was very arrogant and did not put his opponent in his eyes at all. But now, it seemed that he was the laughable one. The other party simply disdained to fight with him. And he was like a jumping clown, jumping up and down in front of everyone, until he was trampled to the ground by the other party. This guy actually won? Wang Ji took a deep breath. Yi Fei and Xueling were also extremely surprised. Huangfu Beitian did not open his eyes all this time, cultivating with his eyes closed. Black Demon's face was gloomy, and the demonic chi on his body surged to the sky. This Yu Song was actually a piece of trash too. Fine, I'll personally take care of this kid. So what if the other party has the strength of the top 10? He, Black Demon, was in existence ranked second only to Huangfu Beitian. Moreover, this time he was confident that he could defeat Huangfu Beitian, let alone that kid. Big brother Lin Xian is too powerful. Shen Jingqiu clapped her hands, smiling like a flower. On the other side, Qing Wu's small face was puffed up, extremely displeased. This Yu Song is also a piece of trash? He can't even beat a newcomer. Full Moon Peak is really trash, no wonder it's at the bottom. She was too angry. She came here to see Lin Xian make a fool of himself, but she did not see Lin Xian make a fool of himself at all. On the contrary, Lin Xian became more and more powerful. Every time he made a move, he would shock the entire audience. In fact, he even established a certain level of prestige and reputation. That was what she did not want to see the most. However, she was unwilling to leave just like that. I want to see how you fight Black Demon, when the time comes. Qing Wu huffed angrily, and continued to watch the battle. Next, it was the turn of the prodigy ranked 11th. That prodigy challenged the one ranked 10th. In the end, he did not succeed. It could not be helped. Being ranked in the top 10 was a watershed. Those who entered the top 10 were all very powerful, far surpassing the others. It could be said that it was extremely difficult for others to break into this circle. More importantly, after entering the top 10, the gap between each rank would become even greater, like a chasm between heaven and earth. Outsiders might not be able to make it to the top, but it would be extremely difficult for those in the inner circle to advance by a single rank. However, that might not be the case. After all, those who could enter the top 10 were all peerless geniuses. As long as these people were given an opportunity, their strength would undergo an earth-shattering change. So what was the ultimate strength of these people? If they did not fight, none of them would know. The one ranked 10th challenged the one ranked 7th, Tian, and failed. Next, it was Lu Yanen's turn. Lu Yanen was ranked 9th. She took a deep breath and prepared to challenge Wang Ji, who was ranked 5th. This scene caused the crowd to exclaim in surprise. Lu Yanen actually wanted to challenge Wang Ji. From the looks of it, she wanted to make it to the top 5. It was very difficult. She was ranked 9th. It was impossible for her to reach the top 5. That might not be the case. Since she dared to challenge him, she had the qualifications to do so. Wang Ji was a short-haired young man with an ordinary face, but his eyes were as sharp as knives. He carried a long sword on his back. He was a swordsman. Lu Yanen was also a swordsman. The red long sword hanging at her waist flickered with a dazzling light. The two of them walked into the arena. Before they fought, their king domains were displayed. They fought in the sky. Every strike tore through the void. The powerful force made everyone tremble. Other than those in the top 10 who could still hold on, the others were all suppressed. Yuan Kuei and the others were also trembling slightly. It was too terrifying. They could not resist this force at all. However, there were a few exceptions. One was Qingwu. Her body was glowing with a hazy light. It was obvious that she had used some kind of secret treasure. The other was Lin Xian. Lin Xian was safe and sound. The dark red divine dragon and Shen Jingqiu were standing beside him. They were also not affected. This scene was also shocking. As for the other person, even Lin Xian was surprised. It was Zhong Lingxiu. Beside Zhong Lingxiu, the illusory image of a green lotus stabilized the void and blocked all the energy attacks. It was not strange that Qing Wu could block it. After all, her brother was the North Demon. She was strong and must have many treasures in her hands. However, Lin Xian and Zhong Lingxiu could block the energy attacks. This shocked them. They wanted to investigate Lin Xian and Zhong Lingxiu's secrets. However, at this time, the two of them fought in the arena, attracting everyone's attention. Lu Yanen soared into the sky and turned into a red rainbow. Buzz! The red long sword slashed down like a divine rainbow, illuminating the entire sky. 7 red lights were slashed out in a row, enveloping Wang Ji. It was Lu Yanen's ultimate move. The surrounding sky prides exclaimed. The elders were also excited. Wang Ji looked up at the sky with a calm expression. Buzz! The long sword was unsheathed. The sword flashed and returned to the sheath. What was going on? Everyone was stunned. Why did Wang Ji stop? Everyone was stunned. However, the eyes of Yi Fei, Xueling, Black Demon, and the others flickered. Lin Xian's pupils constricted and he was shocked. Then he shook his head slightly. He could see that Lu Yanen had lost. Indeed, in the next moment, the sky full of light descended and shattered the void. Lu Yanen's expression was extremely ugly. On her neck, there was a sword mark on her snow-white skin. Blood flowed out. I lost. Lu Yanen's body trembled. She did not have any reaction to the sword just now. Wang Ji had already gone easy on her. Otherwise, she would have been killed by him in one strike. Damn, he defeated Lu Yanen in one strike. This Wang Ji was too terrifying. Oh heavens! Was this the strength of the 5th place? The 5th place was already so terrifying. This Wang Ji's strength had increased too much. Everyone exclaimed. Shui Ling's expression was extremely solemn. She also felt threatened. However, Yi Fei smiled because he and Wang Ji were good friends. In the distance, the elders also smiled. Wang Ji was not bad. This move was very powerful. This kid's strength had become so strong. Not bad, not bad. He should be qualified to fight for the top 3. It seemed that Wang Ji had put in a lot of effort recently in order to comprehend the Moongazer steel. The elders were very satisfied. Wang Ji was too handsome. He would also be one of the terrifying sky prides in the future. Previously, the crowd did not know Wang Ji, but after this battle, they knew him. Wang Ji was as terrifying as Shui Ling and Yi Fei. He was a young sky pride that should not be provoked. Next, the person ranked 8th challenged Yi Fei. The 8th sky pride opened his mouth and spat out a blue pagoda that enveloped his body. Facing Yi Fei, he took the initiative to use his strongest defense. Chapter 30-44. The 2 layers of defense and the king's domain formed a triple defense. Seeing this scene, no one found it funny. They felt that this was how it should be. Because Yi Fei's knife was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian was extremely surprised. He had never seen someone so careful. What was so strange about this Yi Fei? Yi Fei walked up and flipped his palm. A flying knife appeared in his hand. Flying knife. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he saw this scene. The Immortal Palace had a flying knife expert named Li Xuanxian. Once the flying knife was thrown, it would instantly kill an invincible king. Even the primordial king back then couldn't block it. He wondered how Yi Fei's flying knife was. Lin Xian was looking forward to it. The 8th-ranked genius took action after putting up 3 layers of defense. He took out a giant axe and swung it down with an indomitable aura. The sky was split in half. This axe could split heaven and earth. Whoosh! Yi Fei also made his move. A flying knife tore through the void, piercing through the blue pagoda and the bronze cauldron. It pierced through the other party's king's domain. It pierced the other party's body, causing him to vomit blood. With one strike, the 8th-ranked genius lost. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air, their faces full of horror. Yi Fei was indeed not to be provoked. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. Interesting. The other party's flying knife was somewhat similar to Li Zongxian's flying knife. Could it be that the two had some connection? Back then, there was a sword saint who was extremely terrifying. Once the flying knife was thrown out, it could sweep through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Although the other party passed down his inheritance, the inheritance was scattered and incomplete. Regardless of whether it was Yi Fei or Li Xuanxian, they must have obtained a portion of the other party's inheritance. Hearing this, Lin Xian nodded slightly. Perhaps that was the case. The competition continued. Later, the 6th-ranked genius challenged Shui Ling. In the end, Shui Ling waved her hand and directly froze the other party. Another move. Heavens, it was too terrifying. Although they were all ranked in the top 10, the gap between the top 5 and the bottom 5 was too great. The top 5 could directly kill the bottom 5. Everyone was amazed when they saw this scene. It was likely that the top 3 would come from these 5 people. That was for sure. However, it would be difficult for Degu Jian and Black Demon to be defeated. The third person would be either Shui Ling, Yi Fei, or Wang Ji. The others had no chance at all. Not even the 2 prodigies of the far ancient royal family. Although Lin Xian and Zhong Linxiu were exceptionally talented, they were still a far cry from the top 5. Therefore, no one considered it at all. Those elders also became excited. I feel that Yi Fei might be able to make it into the top 3. His throwing knife had become stronger again, and his strength was not in vain. No one could dodge it. I think Wang Qi is not bad. His swordsmanship is very sharp, and he has the demeanor of a master. I'm looking forward to the battle between the Black Demon and Huangfu Beitian. I wonder which one of them will be able to reach the top. The surrounding elders discussed animatedly, but no one was talking about Lin Xian. The great elder narrowed his eyes, but he didn't think so. He felt that Lin Xian might be able to compete with these people. However, he wasn't sure about the specific outcome. He couldn't see through Lin Xian now. I wonder if this kid had any fortuitous encounters in the wasteland. Look, Wang Qi is going up. I wonder who he's going to challenge. Yi Fei or Shui Ling? Yi Fei is his good friend. I guess he's going to challenge Xueling. As expected, Xueling's expression was a little serious. She was even prepared to come out. However, she was soon stunned, because Wang Qi didn't challenge her. Wang Qi's gaze swept past him and landed on the Black Demon. Black Demon was stunned. Then a look of disdain appeared on his face. You want to challenge me? Kid, think carefully. You're no match for me. How would you know if you don't try? Wang Qi clenched his fists. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Black Demon's body swayed, and he appeared in the arena. I'll give you 3 chances to attack. Black Demon said impatiently. What? 3 chances? Did that mean that Black Demon could defeat his opponent in 3 moves? As expected of Black Demon, he was too domineering. Perhaps only Huangfu Beitian could defeat Black Demon. It was impossible for others to do so. That Lin Xian wanted to challenge Black Demon? He was courting death. While they were talking, Wang Qi moved in the arena. Crack! The crowd only heard the sound, but they didn't see how the longsword appeared. In the next moment, Black Demon's body swayed, and a ray of sword light pierced through where he was standing. The sword didn't hit its target. However, after that strike, the longsword turned around again and charged toward the Black Demon. Black Demon roared. Get lost! With a roar, the stars in the sky trembled. The powerful force shattered the void and blocked the sword. Wang Qi's body appeared. He held a long sword in his hand, and his expression was cold. Sword chi surrounded his body and shot into the sky. What happened? The surrounding elites exclaimed. It was too fast. They couldn't see it at all. Didn't Black Demon give him 3 moves? Why did he attack first? Could it be that Wang Qi's strength has reached such a terrifying level? Black Demon's face darkened, and there was a hint of coldness in his eyes. I admit that I underestimated you. I take back what I said just now. You're worthy of my attack. As soon as he said that, the crowd was in an uproar. Wang Qi was too strong. He was able to make Black Demon take him seriously. What kind of sword technique was that just now? A series of exclamations and discussions were heard. Xueling said in a deep voice. She heard that Wang Qi had been in Jinlian planet all this time, and hadn't come out. That should be the sword technique he got from Jinlian planet. That's right. Wang Qi's strength has increased greatly this time. Just wait, he will shock everyone. Yi Fei said with a smile. Wang Qi's performance was beyond everyone's expectations. Even Black Demon's face darkened. In the arena, a ray of light as bright as the sun lit up, and a terrifying sword light slashed down. Black Demon roared. You're courting death. Get lost. He stretched out his palm, and a terrifying demonic aura circulated. 5 black dragons appeared from his 5 fingers, and they circled around each other, covering the entire sky. Hong 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 hong. The black dragons collided with the sword chi, and a terrifying force raged in all directions. Black Demon was Black Demon after all. He was too powerful. He only used 1 move, and it shattered the sword chi in the sky. Even Wang Qi had to retreat. He retreated far away, and his expression became extremely solemn. In the next moment, a piercing light burst out from his eyes again. He waved his long sword, and a destructive sword chi surged out like ripples in the sky, spreading in all directions. Jade Water Sword Technique. The sword wave was like water, and it seemed soft. However, everyone's expression changed, because it said that it contained a destructive force, and it was too terrifying. Even Lu Yanan and the rest were trembling, and their faces were filled with fear. Black Demon roared. Kid, it's over. Black Dragon Fist. Chapter 30-45. The Black Dragon roared. Boom. The Black Dragon collided with the jade-like sword waves, stirring up huge waves in all directions. Even more so, a resplendent light burst out, causing everyone to be unable to open their eyes. Wang Qi blocked it. The water sword technique was blocked in an instant. The Black Demon was too terrifying. It seemed that Wang Qi was in danger. Xue Ling's expression was solemn. Yi Fei was also extremely nervous. He clenched his fists because he and Wang Qi were good friends. Lin Xian was also watching nervously. On the other side, even Huangfu Beitian, who had closed his eyes, opened his eyes. The Black Dragon Fist was the Black Demon's ultimate move. Although the Jade Water Sword technique was powerful, it was completely defeated by the Black Dragon Fist. It was torn apart in an instant. Wang Qi roared angrily when he saw that the Jade Water Sword technique was useless. His body shone brightly again. His longsword trembled and let out a loud roar. The phantom of a golden lion appeared on the longsword. Golden divine light soared into the sky, filling the surroundings with dazzling light. The golden lion had 3 heads and was completely formed by sword chi. It attacked with Wang Qi's sword technique. Ultimate move, Golden Lion Sword. Heavens, Wang Qi had used his ultimate move. This sword technique was even more terrifying than the Jade Water Sword technique. Last time Wang Qi's Golden Lion Sword only had 1 head. Now he could form a 3-headed Golden Lion Sword. Wasn't this growth speed a little too fast? Xueling, Lu Yanan, and the others had solemn expressions. The elders were also excited as if they had been injected with chicken blood. Wang Qi was indeed a genius in sword principle. The Golden Lion Sword? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It was indeed a powerful sword technique. Wang Qi's attainments in sword Dao were indeed not weak. He wondered what the Black Demon was going to do to resist it. Was he going to use his ultimate move? You're actually able to condense 3 heads. I have to say, your growth is really shocking. But as I said, this is the end of it. The battle was over. The Black Demon's voice was cold. He was not afraid because of the 3-headed Golden Lion Sword. Instead, his expression darkened, and a monstrous demonic aura emanated from his body. He raised his right hand, and a black halberd appeared in his hand as thousands of demonic auras soared into the sky. Ka. This divine halberd was simple and unadorned. There were cracks all over it, and it looked like it would shatter at any moment. However, as soon as it appeared, it created an extremely powerful ripple that caused the surrounding space to collapse. Everyone felt their blood turn cold, as if a peerless killing intent was about to pierce through them. What is this? How terrifying! Oh no, I'm going to use my weapon. It seemed that the Black Demon was truly enraged. Everyone wildly swallowed their saliva. Even Yi Fei and Xueling's bodies began to tremble slightly. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. Huangfu Beitian stared at the scene in the sky with a sharp gaze. Wang Jia's expression was even more solemn. The black membrane at this moment was truly terrifying to the extreme. The surrounding void collapsed, and a terrifying demonic aura surged from his body. The moment he grabbed the divine halberd, the demonic chi around him trembled violently and turned into boundless hellfire that swept out in all directions. Destroy! With a furious roar, the black halberd in his hand swept out. Clang! 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 Puff! The black halberd struck the old Golden Lion Sword, shattering the 3-headed Golden Lion Sword. Puff! Wang Ji spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. He stared at the scene in disbelief. His expression was extremely ugly. Defeated, Wang Ji was actually defeated. Such a powerful Golden Lion Sword was actually shattered by a single move. The Black Demon was too terrifying. The black halberd in his hand was truly terrifying. It was a treasure passed down from ancient times. Although it was broken, it was even more terrifying than a half-saint artifact. Screams rang out one after another. The faces of the new Sky Prides were all trembling. Was this the power of the Black Demon? It was too terrifying. It was so terrifying that one look from the Black Demon could kill him. Even Lu Yanan, Yi Fei, Xueling, and the others had grave expressions, let alone the new Sky Prides. Only Huangfu Beitian remained calm. This guy does have the right to be arrogant. The dark red dragon muttered softly. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Indeed, the Black Demon was very powerful. However, Lin Xian felt his blood boiling. Was he defeated? Wang Ji stood up and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He smiled bitterly. There was a hint of unwillingness in his eyes. During this period of time, he had been cultivating his sword skills crazily on Goldforge Planet. Finally, he had cultivated the Golden Lion Sword to 3 heads. Originally, he was full of confidence and thought that he could compete with the Black Demon. At least, he would not be defeated so quickly. However, when the Black Demon became serious and the black halberd appeared, he was unable to resist at all. The difference was too great. It was so great that it made him feel despair. If the black demon was already so powerful, how terrifying would Huangfu Beitian, who was ranked first, be? He did not dare to imagine. Shaking his head, Wang Ji took out 2 pills and swallowed them. Then he walked to the side to recover. The black demon stood in the void like a peerless demon king. His cold eyes swept across the area. No one dared to look him in the eye. With a cold snort, the black demon put away his black halberd and left the void, landing outside the arena. Everyone was still in shock from the attack just now. There were discussions and screams everywhere. The elders in the distance were also moved. This Hamo is incredible. His strength has increased tremendously compared to before. It seemed that this time, he might really be able to defeat Huangfu Beitian. Not necessarily. Huangfu Beitian had not shown his skills yet. But thinking about it, his strength should have greatly increased. They were really looking forward to the battle between the two of them. Yes, the two of them might be able to comprehend the full moon wordless steel. At that time, they would be able to compete with monsters like Hubei Monster. There was finally hope for our full moon peak. These elders trembled with excitement. The first elder narrowed his eyes and did not say anything. Was there hope? Indeed. However, was it Huangfu Beitian and the black demon? His gaze passed through the crowd and looked at a figure in the distance. Perhaps, not necessarily. In the arena, the 2 elders took a deep breath and then pressed their hands together, causing the surroundings to quiet down. The next moment, one of the elders said loudly. The next one to go up was Yi Fei. Yi Fei, who are you going to challenge? Hearing this, everyone's gazes landed on Yi Fei, and they became excited once again. Yi Fei was going to fight too. He was a super powerhouse. His flying daggers never missed. Who was he going to challenge? It was very likely that he wanted to avenge Wang Ji, so he challenged the black demon. Amidst the discussion, Yi Fei walked up to the arena. He smiled slightly and looked at Xueling. Come up. Xueling. Chapter 3046. That was for sure. Only the top 3 could comprehend the full moon wordless steel. Would Xueling be able to withstand it? Don't underestimate Xueling. Her strength was absolutely terrifying. After all, she was ranked 3rd, second only to Hamo and Huangfu Beitian. Xueling didn't seem surprised by this choice. She snorted, and ice lotuses appeared under her feet, carrying her to the arena. You really chose me. Unfortunately, you have no chance of winning. Xueling's voice was cold. As she spoke, the surroundings were frozen. Facing Yi Fei, Xueling didn't dare to be careless. After all, his flying daggers were too terrifying. In an instant, she also set up several layers of defense. She even wore an ice armor on her body. She formed a seal with her jade-like hands. Immediately, the cold air in the sky surged and turned into countless ice shards. The murderous aura shot into the sky. The cold aura made the people in the distance tremble again. Frost even formed on many people's bodies, and the power in their bodies was frozen. Cold snowflakes floated between heaven and earth. Yi Fei's body swayed and he used his extreme speed. He turned into a stream of light and floated between heaven and earth, wandering among the ice swords. He didn't attack immediately. Seeing this scene, many of the new prodigies were puzzled. Why didn't he use his flying daggers? Yet, didn't they say that his flying daggers are very powerful? Hearing this, the old prodigy snorted. What do you know? Yi Fei only uses his daggers at the critical moment. Do you think he'll use his flying daggers right away? Just watch. Apart from his flying daggers, Yi Fei also has other powerful divine powers. Otherwise, why do you think he's ranked 4th? As expected, the new prodigies stopped talking and even began to tremble. Because they realized that even if Yi Fei didn't use his flying daggers, he was still very terrifying. As Yi Fei opened and closed his palms, beams of divine light shot into the sky and shattered all the ice swords around him. Ice dimensional slash. On the other side, Xueling formed another seal. The space rippled, and a blue light of death drew out and directly enveloped Yi Fei. Seeing this scene, even Wang Ji's body trembled, and his face was full of fear. The icy dimensional slash was an extremely powerful and terrifying ability. In the entire full moon peak, not many people could withstand it. Unexpectedly, Xue Ling executed it so quickly. It looked like she wanted to end the battle quickly, not giving Yi Fei a chance to draw his saber. Seeing this, Yi Fei did not dare to be careless. Strange runes appeared under his feet one after another. With a whoosh, his speed increased again, and he instantly disappeared from where he stood. 9 rotation body steps. Heavens, he had actually mastered the 9 rotation body steps. Yu Song screamed. Yuan Kuei, Lu Yanan, and the others felt their scalps go numb. Even Xue Ling's beautiful eyes were tightly wrinkled. 9 revolving body steps. The other party had actually succeeded. That was interesting. Black Demon also narrowed his eyes, and a cold smile appeared on his face. This was an extremely frightening speed. Most of the geniuses in the area could not even see where the other party was. Golden runes flickered in Lin Xian's eyes. He caught sight of a figure moving rapidly in the sky. What incredible speed! This Yi Fei was truly amazing. However, from the looks of it, he should be drawing his flying saber soon. Indeed, Xue Ling repeatedly used her ultimate move, causing Yi Fei to move quickly in the sky. Wherever he passed, huge blue cracks were torn open and devoured everything. Finally, Yi Fei seized an opportunity. With a flip of his palm, a flying saber appeared. After the flying saber appeared, Yi Fei's aura changed. A dazzling saber light shot into the sky, and a vast amount of energy shook the void. Everyone's expression changed. They now realized that Yi Fei, who possessed the flying dagger, was simply incomparable to the person he used to be. He was too powerful. At this moment, even Black Demon's expression was solemn. Yi Fei's saber was indeed worthy of its reputation. Huangfu Beitian opened his eyes again, as if he could see through everything. Xue Ling's expression was incomparably solemn. She shouted coldly and waved her hand. Dozens of ice curtains condensed around her. They were densely packed and spread in all directions. At this moment, Xue Ling had used her strongest defense. Buzz! Under everyone's attention, Yi Fei drew his saber. A divine light streaked across, illuminating the 9 heavens and 10 lands. It was too fast. Everyone only saw a flash of light. Then they couldn't see anything. They could only hear a violent sound. The ground cracked, the sky rolled, and the terrifying power seemed to be destroying the world. There were even ghostly wails and wolf howls that made one's scalp tingle. The ice curtains that Xue Ling cast were like pieces of paper. They couldn't resist at all. In an instant, they were penetrated. Xue Ling's body was cold. She felt a peerless killing intent enveloping her. Damn it! She changed positions, but it was too late. The saber was too fast. It was even faster than Yi Fei's 9 rotation steps. At the critical moment, Xue Ling opened her mouth and spat out a blue shield. This blue shield was overflowing with light. It was obviously a powerful Dharma treasure. As soon as the shield appeared, it kept expanding and protecting Xue Ling. Phew. Xue Ling heaved a sigh of relief. In the next moment, she heard an earth-shattering sound. It was Yi Fei's saber that collided with her blue shield. In the next moment, countless cracks appeared on the blue shield. Crack! Crack! How was this possible? Xue Ling's beautiful eyes widened in disbelief. How could she block her opponent's saber? She clearly couldn't block it last time. With a puff, in her surprise, the blue shield shattered and a saber light pierced her shoulder. This made her keep retreating. The ice that filled the sky disappeared. Blood dripped and pierced through the void. What happened? What was the result? It seemed to be a long time, but it was only a moment. Everyone only saw a flash of light and blood feathers floating down from the sky. His flying saber had become stronger again. Heimo snorted. Huangfu Beitian's eyes were bright. On the other side, Lin Xian also nodded slightly. What a powerful flying saber. Indeed, it deserved its reputation. Xue Ling's defeat was not unjustified. What? You said Xue Ling lost? Hearing Lin Xian's words, the surrounding people screamed. They didn't quite believe it. But in the next moment, when they saw Xue Ling holding her shoulder in the arena, her face pale, they immediately screamed. Xue Ling was defeated. She was really defeated. She was pierced through by a saber. She lost. Yi Fei landed below the arena, looking confident and calm. He still put away the flying saber. I don't understand. How did your flying saber become so powerful? Last time, you clearly couldn't break my shield. Xueling's face was pale. She still couldn't understand. Because she and Yi Fei had fought more than once. Previously, her opponent was unable to break through her Dharma treasure shield. But this time, her opponent penetrated it. Chapter 3047. Yi Fei smiled mysteriously and did not say anything. However, at this moment, a cold voice resounded throughout the world. It was the power of the moon soul. This voice made one's blood boil, as if they were about to faint. Xueling's expression changed. What? The power of the moon soul? You actually integrated the power of the moon soul into the flying dagger? Yi Fei's expression also changed. He did not expect his secret to be seen through in an instant. However, he did not dare to be angry because he knew who made that voice. It was Huangfu Beitian. In front of such a person, his secret could not be hidden at all. I did not expect your control of the moon soul's power to reach such a level. Xueling took a deep breath. Next time, I won't lose to you again. As she said that, she also channeled ice to seal her wound. Then she turned around and walked down the stage. This battle did not last long. Especially after Yi Fei displayed his flying knife skill. The outcome of the battle was decided almost instantly. The surrounding prodigies seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. Many of the young rookies saw Yi Fei's dagger for the first time. Too strong. Was that Yi Fei's flying dagger? As expected, no one could block it. Would Heiamo be able to block it? It was hard to say. Heiamo was too strong, and Yi Fei's dagger was too sharp. If the two of them collided, what would the situation be? Don't worry, the two of them will definitely fight in the next round. In the distance, the elders were also excited. Yi Fei's dagger had indeed become stronger. This kid's talent was terrifying. He could actually integrate the moon soul into his flying dagger technique. Did he engrave it on the blade or directly integrate it into the technique? But no matter what, his strength had become stronger again. He could even challenge Heiamo and Huangfu Beitian. Next should be Xueling, right? Who was she going to challenge? Xueling had just been injured. It would probably take some time for her to recover. Sure enough, the next round did not start immediately. Instead, they waited for Xueling to recover from her injuries. The surrounding people were too excited because Wang Qi, Yi Fei, Xueling, Heiamo, and the other powerhouses appeared one by one. The power they displayed was too terrifying. These were the top 5? Too strong. No one could defeat them. The top 3 would definitely come from these people. 2 hours later, Xueling opened her eyes. Although she hadn't fully recovered, she had recovered 80 to 90%. She was ready to fight. Xueling walked out. Her gaze moved between the Black Devil and Huangfu Beitian. And she seemed to be deciding who she wanted to challenge. In the end, she still stared at the Black Demon because she truly did not have the courage to challenge Huangfu Beitian. Heiamo had appeared again. Although Xueling lost to Yi Fei, it didn't mean that she was weak. On the contrary, her strength was extremely strong. Even the Black Devil had to take it seriously. Wang. After more than 100 moves, Heiamo used his black halberd, and Xueling was actually able to exchange 3 moves with him. When Heiamo was fighting Wang Qi, he had used his black halberd to send Wang Qi flying with a single move. But now, it took him 3 moves to defeat Xueling. One could imagine just how powerful Xueling was. Heiamo won again. He didn't leave the arena, and he looked directly at Huangfu Beitian instead. Come and fight me. Today I'll defeat you. I'll let everyone know who's number 1 on Full Moon Peak. Huangfu Beitian opened his eyes and looked at Heiamo in the arena with a calm expression. He said, "You've just gone through a battle. I'll give you 15 minutes to recover." In less than 15 minutes, Heiamo snorted coldly, and the black halberd in his hand shook. Suddenly, a huge crack that was tens of thousands of miles wide appeared in the sky. Boundless demonic qi rolled, and crazily absorbed the spiritual qi between heaven and earth. It formed beams of black light, a total of 49 beams, and connected to Heiamo's body. Spiritual qi poured into his body, forcibly recovering. Oh heavens, he dared to use such a method? How terrifying was Heiamo? Wasn't he afraid of his body exploding? Those people exclaimed. Yi Fei, Xueling, and the others also turned pale. Heimo was too powerful. Soon, the dark clouds in the sky disappeared, and Heimo's aura became tyrannical again. I've recovered, come and fight me. As you wish. Huangfu Beitian walked up. When he took a step forward, the crowd couldn't see his figure at all, and they realized that he had already arrived in the arena, shrinking the ground into an inch. That's too fast. You're not my opponent. Take out your strongest martial arts. Huangfu Beitian said indifferently. Don't look down on me. The current me definitely has the strength to defeat you. Heimo snorted coldly. He didn't put away the black halberd in his hand. Instead, it bloomed with an even more terrifying light. The surrounding experts and sky prides felt their scalps go numb. Huangfu Beitian actually said such words to Heimo. It was too shocking. One had to know that such words were usually said by Heimo to others. They never thought that someone would dare to say such words to Heimo. However, Huangfu Beitian definitely had the strength to do so. He was the number one of the full moon peak. From the beginning to the end, no one had seen him fight because no one dared to challenge him. Even top sky prides like Yi Fei and Xueling didn't dare to challenge him. Only Heimo dared to challenge him, right? Buzz. Boom. Heimo snorted. His hair danced wildly, and the demonic chi on his body erupted again. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a primordial demon king, unstoppable. What a powerful aura. Those people were all blown away. Xueling, Yi Fei, and the others' pupils shrank. He became stronger again. Heimo's aura became stronger again. Could it be that Heimo didn't use his full strength in the previous battle? Thinking of this, a hint of despair appeared in their eyes. Wasn't this too shocking? Heimo was still hiding his strength. Those elders were also extremely shocked. Everyone's expression was ugly. In the crowd, Lin Xian's gaze was solemn as he stared at the fiend-like figure. There were still countless sword chi around him, blocking the terrifying storm. On the other side, the green lotus beside Zhong Linxiu swayed gently, blocking all the storm. At the same time, two mysterious runes flickered in her eyes. It seemed to want to see through everything. Kill! Heimo roared and waved his black divine halberd like a demon. Suddenly, a dazzling killing intent soared into the sky. The terrifying black light turned into a long rainbow and slashed forward. In an instant, it enveloped Huangfu Beitian. Seeing this scene, everyone became nervous. They wondered what kind of peerless ability Huangfu Beitian was going to use. After all, the black divine halberd was too terrifying. It defeated Wang Qi in one move and Xueling in 3 moves. It was definitely a heaven-defying weapon. Probably not many people would be able to withstand this kind of power. Huangfu Beitian would probably have to use a peerless ability. Perhaps he would have to pull out the blade on his back. Everyone was looking forward to an intense battle. Chapter 30-48. Looking at the incoming divine rainbow, Huangfu Beitian stood with his hands behind his back. He did not dodge or make any movements. When these divine rainbows arrived beside him, he opened his mouth. Destroy. With a light shout, heaven and earth collapsed. The dozens of black mist-like attacks instantly collapsed and turned into fragments. The void in all directions of the world was also cracking apart continuously. With just one word, the black demon's powerful attack was neutralized. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. Heavens, am I dreaming? What did I just see? Huangfu Beitian neutralized the black demon's peerless attack by opening his mouth? That was not an ordinary attack. The attack that defeated Wang Qi in 1 move and Xueling in 3 moves was actually nothing in front of Huangfu Beitian. How terrifying and heaven-defying was Huangfu Bai. These people were all crazy. To be honest, this was completely different from what they had imagined. In their view, the black demon was already so terrifying. No matter how strong Huangfu Beitian was, he should not be much stronger than the black demon. Between the two of them, it was definitely a fierce battle. Perhaps, all kinds of divine abilities would emerge one after another. But the truth was not so. Facing the black demon's powerful attack, Huangfu Beitian only said one word and neutralized this peerless killing intent. This was simply a crushing defeat. Unexpectedly, Huangfu Beixian's strength far surpassed the black demons. Even Lin Xian and Zhong Linxia were shocked. The two of them also did not expect that it would be such a scene. This Huangfu Beitian was not ordinary. Is this all you've got? I've said it before, use your strongest trump card. Huangfu Beitian shook his head slightly with a hint of disappointment in his eyes. Damn guy, don't be so arrogant. The black demon's face was gloomy and somewhat unsightly. He did not expect that Huangfu Beitian did not even make a move. With just one word he destroyed his attack. In addition to the surprise of the surrounding people, it made him lose face. He decided to show Huangfu Beitian his strength. Those few attacks just now were not his full strength. Next, he would let Huangfu Beitian know the price of underestimating him. Demonic dragon monstrous sky. Heimo roared furiously. Devil chi surged out from his body. 18 devil dragons surged out and coiled around Huangfu Beitian at a rapid speed. At the same time he waved the halberd in his hand again, creating a few terrifying spatial rifts, as if he wanted to swallow Huangfu Beitian whole. It was too terrifying. The attack this time was even more terrifying than before. It seemed like the Heimo was truly enraged. Huangfu Beitian harumphed coldly as he waved his hand, firing a shocking saber glow that shattered the 18 black dragons. At the same time he stomped his foot, shattering all the spatial rifts around him. Your attack is not good enough. Huangfu Beitian said coldly. Was the gap between them that big? Everyone was stupefied. Even the black demon had an ugly expression on his face. Damn it. Draw your blade for me. He was mad with anger. Unexpectedly, the other party still hadn't drawn his saber. Just a wave of his arm was enough to break his attack. This infuriated black demon so much that he vomited blood. He didn't believe that the other party would be so powerful. Kill! With a furious roar, the black demon quickly charged forward. In the blink of an eye, he arrived beside Huangfu Beitian as the black halberd in his hand flickered continuously. Countless terrifying attacks were launched at Huangfu Beitian. At this moment, Huangfu Beitian made his move. His figure was extremely fast, as if he could escape into the void, easily dodging hundreds of attacks. Then he appeared in another void. You're not good enough. You're not qualified for me to draw my blade. Huangfu Beixian's cold voice sounded again, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. The elders in the distance also frowned. Their eyelids were twitching wildly. Heavens, has Huangfu Beitian become so terrifying? Could it be that the gap between them was so big? This was something that he had never thought of before. Lin Xian and Zhong Linxia were equally shocked. The strength that Huangfu Beitian displayed at this moment had truly shocked everyone. The black demon was going crazy with anger. His entire face was distorted. How could the other party still not draw his blade? Was he looking down on him? He roared at the sky, causing the entire world to tremble. Black demonic aura shot up into the sky like thousands of demonic dragons. Armageddon Black Dragon Fist. This time he did not wave his black halberd, but his fist. The terrifying fist blossomed with a jet black light, accompanied by strange runes one after another. They were like stars, tumbling in the sky. The powerful force tore everything apart. It was too terrifying. Many sky prides were already pressed to the ground, trembling. Armageddon Black Dragon Fist. It was actually that kind of fist technique that the black demon had mastered. This black demon was too terrifying. He wondered if Huangfu Beitian should draw his saber. If Huangfu Beitian did not draw his blade, then he would be too heaven-defying. Armageddon Black Dragon Fist? You're not trash after all. You can actually master such a fist technique. Very well, you're worthy of me drawing my blade. Huangfu Beixian's eyes were sharp. At this moment he seemed to have turned into a peerless blade god, holding the long blade on his back. With a clang, the blade flashed, and a huge crack of hundreds of thousands of miles shot up into the sky. The entire sky seemed to have been split in half. Buzz. With a slash of the blade, the demonic aura that filled the sky disappeared, and the countless black dragon fist shadows were completely shattered. This saber strike destroyed everything. The Armageddon Black Dragon Fist was broken. Boom boom boom. With a slash of the blade, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The sky prides and experts below fainted from fear. Was this Huangfu Beixian's strength? Xueling trembled. Yifei's face turned pale, and Wang Ji clenched his fists with his eyes wide open. As for Yuan Kuei, Yu Song and the others, their blood and chi froze, and their souls trembled. It was too terrifying. No one could block this saber strike. Buzz. In the distance, the elders also stood up with their eyes wide open. Their gazes were like rainbows that pierced through the void. This saber light. This saber technique. This Huangfu Beitian was incredible. The first elder's eyes emitted a piercing cold light. He clapped his hands and laughed. What a surprise. That's right, everyone knew that Huangfu Beitian was strong, but they did not know how strong he was. It seemed that he was ridiculously strong. With Huangfu Beitian here, the full moon peak would definitely not be last in the competition between the four peaks. Even though they might not be able to defeat the North Beast, they should be able to compete for second place. Not necessarily. The woman from the Nimble Valley was also very terrifying. It did not matter. Even if they were not second, they would at least be third. This time, they would definitely not be last. The elders were extremely excited, as if they had been injected with chicken blood. Boom boom boom. The terrifying crack in the sky continued to expand. Black Demon, on the other hand, kept retreating. His face was also filled with shock. He had drawn his blade. He had really drawn his blade. Chapter 3049. His peerless fist technique was shattered by his opponent's blade. There was no way for him to defend himself. You've finally unsheathed your blade. Although the apocalyptic black dragon fist was broken, the Hei-Mo was extremely excited. He still had a trump card that he could use. Buzz. Countless demonic runes appeared on the Hei-Mo's body. The entire sky darkened, and the terrifying aura made everyone faint. At this moment, the Hei-Mo was like a peerless demon king that could shatter heaven and earth. A black moon seemed to have appeared in the sky. It was extremely terrifying as it spun rapidly. Moon Soul. Is this the Hei-Mo's Moon Soul? He has refined it to such a level. It's not a simple Moon Soul. The Hei-Mo has activated his bloodline power. The demonic runes on his body are definitely the power of his bloodline. Exclamations could be heard as the crowd trembled. With the power of his bloodline combined with the Moon Soul, the Hei-Mo was going all out. He was not holding back at all. After all, his opponent was Dugabatian. Buzz. He held the black halberd again and swung it. The sky was overturned and turned into a terrifying black hole that could devour everything. It wanted to devour Huangfu Beitian. Take my strongest attack, apocalyptic black dragon wave. The halberd in his hand seemed to have come alive, and turned into a black dragon that he held in his hand. At the same time, the Hei-Mo's entire right arm emitted a black light as demonic runes spun rapidly. A powerful energy burst out. This energy was too strong. It could destroy everything. The expressions of the two judges changed. At this moment, the Grand Elder shouted coldly and activated the array formation. Immediately, many elders around the mountain moved. They formed seals with their palms and countless runes lit up on the mountain peak, forming a defensive formation that protected the full moon peak. Otherwise, this attack would have created a hole in the full moon peak. After the array was activated, Old Zhang heaved a sigh of relief. The other sky prides also calmed down. Their faces were extremely pale. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with stars as he stared at the two figures in the sky. Apocalyptic black dragon wave. The Hei-Mo's right arm suddenly erupted with energy. The halberd in his hand turned into a black dragon. The dragon opened its mouth and a black wave was shot out. It swept forward and enveloped Huangfu Beitian. Chop! Huangfu Beitian snorted coldly as the saber in his hand slashed down. It was as if it could destroy everything in its path. The saber slashed down. Boom. This was a terrifying confrontation. The world-destroying black dragon wave was the Black Devil's strongest attack. Huangfu Beitian's slash was even more terrifying. The two collided, emitting a thunderous sound. The void continued to collapse as energy surged madly. Endless runes formed a storm that wreaked havoc in all directions. Ka-ka-ka. The black runes in the sky shattered, and the black dragon howled as it was cut in half by the saber. The black demon also retreated. His bones were broken, and he fell to the ground. Bang. The entire land began to shake, and dust rose into the air within a radius of 1,000,000 miles. Injured, Hayamo was actually injured. Everyone exclaimed. The hearts of those elders also rose to their throats. After Black Demon landed on the ground, he spat out a large mouthful of blood. Damn it! I refuse to accept this. His strongest attack was actually countered by someone. However, he refused to accept it. He still wanted to soar into the sky, but Huangfu Beitian snorted coldly in the sky. He waved his hand, and a saber light slashed down. It grew bigger and bigger like a mountain, completely suppressing the Black Demon. Under the saber light, Hamo's body trembled. You've lost. In the sky, Hamo's voice was cold. He did not attack again, and withdrew his saber. He stepped into the air, and walked into the distance. Damn it! Damn it! Hayamo was so angry that he went crazy. The clouds within a radius of 1,000,000 miles were all shattered by him. However, he still could not change the outcome. Everyone in the surroundings was also shocked and silent. They were completely stunned. This battle was really too terrifying. Hayamo had used all his means, but there was nothing he could do. Huangfu Beitian's saber was too amazing. Was that Huangfu Beitian's ultimate move? Not necessarily. Why do I feel like it's a casual attack from Huangfu Beitian? Don't scare me. Has Huangfu Beitian become so terrifying? At this moment, countless geniuses trembled with excitement as they looked at Huangfu Beitian with admiration. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Huangfu Beitian is so strong. He's ridiculously strong. He could not see through his opponent's strength. Zhong Lingxia's eyes flickered. No one knew what she was thinking. The others, such as Yifei, Xueling, and Wang Ji, were also shocked. They swallowed their saliva. Fortunately, they did not challenge Huangfu Beitian previously. Otherwise, they did not dare to imagine. They did not expect the gap to be so big. Heimo's admiration was not undeserved. Huangfu Beitian was really too strong, ridiculously strong. Those elders also sighed one after another. Their eyes were filled with excitement. Indeed, Hayamo was defeated, but that did not mean that he was weak. On the contrary, Hayamo was very strong. However, Huangfu Beitian was unbelievably strong. It could be said that Hayamo could be proud that he could make Huangfu Beitian use his saber. Although many elders around praised, Haymo's face was gloomy. He came to the side. The demonic chi on his body was still emitting a terrifying light, causing no one to dare to approach. Angry, he was too angry. He was still second, and he had lost to Huangfu Beitian. He did not even know how much power Huangfu Beitian had used. Second, in everyone's eyes, was an incomparably dazzling existence. However, Hayamo was furious. One had to know that he had mastered the apocalyptic black dragon wave, and was full of confidence. He thought that he could use this great ability to defeat Huangfu Beitian. However, he had lost this battle completely. Damn it, next time. I won't lose the next time the Four Peaks compete. Hayamo gritted his teeth. He swore that this was his last defeat. From now on he would not be defeated again. Following Hayamo's defeat against Huangfu Beitian, the first round of the challenges came to an end. Everyone had 6 hours to rest. After 6 hours, the second round of the competition began. Therefore, those injured and monstrous geniuses who had finished participating in the competition began to crazily swallow pills to recover and improve themselves so that they could face the next round. 6 hours passed very quickly. The monstrous geniuses had many fortuitous encounters and were rich, so they did not hesitate to use their treasures at this moment. Finally, many people recovered. Some people even reached the peak. Everyone's eyes were shining, and they were even more excited. That was because this was their last chance. If they failed, no one knew how many years they would have to wait. Although they were all young geniuses and had a lot of time, in the Battle of Emperor Road, if they fell one step behind, they might fall behind for life. No one would give up this last chance. This round of the competition would be even more intense. Sure enough, everyone used all their trump cards without holding anything back. Among them, Situ Haotian made it to the 15th place and succeeded. Zhong Lingxia was even more shocking. She made it to the 10th place. Chapter 30-50. A green lotus appeared beside Zhong Lingxiu. It swayed gently, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. As a result, Huangfu Beitian opened his eyes in surprise. Yi Fei, Xueling, and the rest were even more surprised. For a moment, countless gazes and discussions surrounded the surroundings. Those elders were also shocked. What was that green lotus? Could it be something? It was impossible. When did such a terrifying person come out of the Daoi Holy Land? These elders also seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. This jump in ranking was too strong. She had already entered the top 10. Even Lin Xian didn't enter. Who would have thought that Zhong Lingxiu would actually enter? The first elder was also very surprised. At the same time, he narrowed his eyes. Zhong Lingxiu, Daoi Holy Land. His body was slightly excited. Lin Xian was also surprised. He didn't expect that apart from him, there was actually such a powerful dark horse on the human side. The other party wasn't the successor of a great emperor like Yin Nantian, nor was she the descendant of an emperor clan like Yi Wudao, but a genius from the Daoi Holy Land. Previously, she didn't reveal her strength. Before entering the House of Prodigy, he hadn't even heard of her name. But now, the other party soared into the sky and entered the top 10 of Full Moon Peak. One had to know that if placed outside, it was enough to sweep away the vast majority of the human race's geniuses. Even those 10,000 ancient races were no match for her. Previously, geniuses like Huamuzhen and Fire Dragon King might not even be able to enter the rankings in the House of Prodigy. From this, one could imagine how terrifying the demon-level geniuses inside were. However, among so many monstrous geniuses, Zhong Lingxiu was actually able to enter the top 10. This sister is so powerful. The 1-pound Xinjingqiu was also surprised. Qinggu, who was far away, also exclaimed softly. She didn't expect another dark horse to appear. The dark red divine dragon stared at Zhong Lingxiu nonstop. Oh my, it's amazing. He seemed to have made a major discovery. What did he discover? Lin Xian asked. The dark red divine dragon said. Do you know that the Daoi Holy Land has a legendary terrifying physique? Dao physique. Dao physique. Just by hearing this name, one knew that it was terrifying. Those that were related to Dao were definitely not simple. What kind of physique was this? Lin Xian asked. The dark red divine dragon said. A super terrifying physique. It is not weaker than your 9-yang divine body. Nor is it weaker than the saint body. It was one of the most powerful and terrifying physiques in the world. In fact, it was even more terrifying. However, he rarely appeared. Because as soon as they appeared, they would sweep through the 8 wastelands. Very few people were their match. Among the great emperors, there were some who had such a constitution. Upon hearing the dark red divine dragon's words, Xin Jingqiu was shocked. Lin Xian's eyelids were also twitching. Was there such a constitution among the great emperors? Too strong. Of course, I'm just guessing. I'm not completely sure. This was because once the Taoist body was formed, even if one had not reached the saint realm, they could still use the laws of heaven and earth. If she really had the Tao flesh, even the first-ranked Huangfu Beitian would not stand a chance against her, let alone being ranked 10th. Even the 10,000 demon body might not be able to defeat her. What? This time, Lin Xian was truly shocked. Even if one wasn't a saint, they would still be able to use the laws. This was definitely an incredible matter. One had to know that only saints possess laws and Tao patterns. But now there was actually someone below the saint stage who could use it. They could indeed control the power of heaven and earth now, but this power was not laws. The difference between the two was too great. There was even a difference in essence. A person who used laws could easily annihilate them. If this Zhong Lingxiu really had the Tao flesh, then she would definitely be one of the most powerful enemies on the path to becoming a great emperor. However, Lin Xian was also suspicious. Zhong Lingxiu was powerful, but she was not powerful to the point of defying the heavens. Therefore, he was very suspicious whether the other party had the Tao flesh or not. However, now was not the time for him to think too much. Because he was about to enter the arena, Lin Xian stood up and walked towards the arena ahead. As he stood up, everyone stopped discussing and looked at him. The next moment, exclamations erupted again. Lin Xian was about to make his move. Yes, Lin Xian was one of the big dark horses. The power that he displayed previously was not weaker than Zhong Lingxiu at all. Who knew what rank he would be able to reach this time? He had already defeated Yu Song, and was absolutely qualified to reach the top 10. Wonder if he would make a move against Zhong Lingxiu? Really hoped to see the appearance of the two big dark horses exchanging blows. Screams sounded out one after another. Those elders were also looking forward to it. Because previously, they were not optimistic about Lin Xian. But the strength that Lin Xian displayed let these people know that this was absolutely a terrifying heavens chosen. This time, what kind of performance the other party would have, they were also very much looking forward to it. This guy should have the strength to charge into the top 10. Indeed, if it was not the 10th place, it would be the 9th place. All in all, he could enter. Wonder if he would exchange blows with Zhong Lingxiu? Hard to say. If these two people were to fight, it was really not certain who would win and who would lose. These elders were discussing in the distance. First elder's gaze became fiery. Could he finally see the other party's true strength clearly? This was the final round. He knew that Lin Xian absolutely had to display powerful strength. After all, Lin Xian's ambition was not small. He wanted to comprehend the full moon wordless steel. Then let me see just how much your true strength is. First elder was looking forward to it in his heart. Countless gazes all looked over. Yu Song, Yuan Kuei, Lu Yanan, Wang Ji Yifei Xueling. Everyone's gaze all looked at Lin Xian. Even Zhong Lingxiu also looked over with a trace of strange energy in her eyes. Lin Xian's gaze swept across these experts and did not stop. It did not even linger on Zhong Lingxiu. This made everyone curious. Who was the other party going to attack? Not Zhong Lingxiu? Then it should be the 9th place. This kid's strength was too strong. It should be the standard between the 10th and 9th place. Any higher would be impossible. Yes, the top 5 was basically hopeless. The top 5 were too strong. They were not on the same level at all. These people were fiercely discussing. However, in the next moment, they were all dumbfounded. Even their bodies trembled, and they almost wet themselves. Lin Xian stood up and said again, "I want to challenge the Onyx Demon." As soon as these words came out, many people directly vomited blood. The corners of those elders' mouths also twitched. There was no end to this. The Onyx Demon was also angry. He suddenly stood up. "Kid, if you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." He was really too angry. This kid had said more than once that he wanted to challenge him. He did not expect that this time. He actually dared to challenge him again. Previously, the other party might not know his strength. Now that he displayed supreme strength that could instantly kill Wang Ji and the other party actually dared to challenge him? Where did the confidence in the square come from? The others were also dumbfounded. What the fuck? What did this kid say? He still wants to challenge the Onyx Demon. Does he know what he's saying? Didn't he watch the previous matches? The Onyx Demon is so strong. Other than Huangfu Beitian, no one is a match for the Onyx Demon. This kid thinks he can. Just because he defeated Yu Song, he's qualified to challenge the Onyx Demon? Not to mention the Onyx Demon, he can't even defeat Wang Ji. Chapter 3051. Lin Xian was not angry. He said calmly, "What? You lost to Huangfu Beitian once. Are you afraid of losing to me a second time? If that's the case, admit defeat and I can spare you this time. Kid, if you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." The black demon walked up with a murderous aura. He was extremely furious, as he was already feeling extremely displeased when he lost to Huangfu Beitian. There was a murderous intent in his heart that he had yet to vent. Now that Lin Xian had provoked him, he decided to vent his anger on Lin Xian. He wanted Lin Xian to suffer a fate worse than death. What? The black demon is going to fight? Everyone was shocked. The two referee elders were also extremely shocked. They looked at the first elder and asked for his opinion. The first elder shook his head slightly. "Don't worry about it. Let the competition proceed naturally." Hearing that, the two elders sighed. Since the first elder had said so, they could not stop him. They merged into the void, but they had already decided to save Lin Xian's life at the critical moment. They definitely could not let this kid be crippled. The judges didn't stop him? The black demon is really going to fight. This is going to be interesting. How many moves can this kid block? How many moves can he block? He can't even block one move. The black demon could probably kill him with a single glance. No one was optimistic about Lin Xian's chances. The judges also wanted to save Lin Xian's life at the critical moment. Yi Fei, Xueling, Wang Qi, and the others had solemn expressions. They did not know where Lin Xian's courage came from. The black demon walked up with a terrifying aura. Kid, I'll let you know the price of provoking me. I'll torture you to death. After he came up, he did not move at all. Black light burst out from his eyes and pierced through the space in front of him. Suddenly, it turned into two black holes that destroyed everything. It seemed that Lin Xian was about to be swallowed up. The black demon was going to kill him with his gaze. Haha, this kid is going to be unlucky. Many people below sneered. Being killed by a gaze was definitely the most humiliating defeat. It seems that this kid is going to be humiliated today. Looking at this scene, Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He did not dare to be careless. The next moment, his left hand clenched into a fist. He punched out. Boom. A terrifying light flashed, and the entire void trembled before it was completely shattered. The two black holes in the sky also ceased to exist. Not only that, a terrifying fist smashed towards Black Demon, causing Black Demon to be stunned. Black Demon was taken aback. He quickly retreated, but he had been too careless. From the beginning to the end, he had never taken Lin Xian seriously. In his opinion, he could kill Lin Xian with a single glance. But who would have thought that the other party's punch would be so terrifying? He couldn't dodge at all. He could only take it head-on. His left hand turned into a black firmament and slammed forward. It was as if countless mountains were crashing down, producing rumbling sounds. However, under Lin Xian's punch, the black sky shattered, and thousands of mountains collapsed. The black demon was pushed back. He retreated quite a distance before stopping. His armor was in tatters. Everyone was stunned. Even the judges and elders were dumbfounded. They widened their eyes and even rubbed their eyes with their hands. They realized that it was true. Lin Xian actually pushed Black Demon back with a single punch. Moreover, Black Demon was injured. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. One had to know that Black Demon was the second strongest existence in Wangyue Feng. He was second only to Huangfu Beitian. Other than losing to Huangfu Beitian, he had never been defeated. Even an expert like Wang Qi was killed in a single move. But now, he was actually pushed back by Lin Xian with a single punch. That was too unbelievable. That was too terrifying. One had to know that Lin Xian was just a newcomer. A newcomer pushed Black Demon back with a single punch. What kind of concept was that? That was even more terrifying than Zhong Lingxiu. This was simply a freak, a monster. The Unicorn King and the Blue Wing King screamed. Damn it, that was impossible. How could he push Lord Black Demon back? Yuan Kuei's body trembled. He was actually so strong. Lu Yanan's eyes widened. He did it. He really did it. Wang Qi, Yi Fei, and Xueling were all stunned. At that moment, the entire competition arena was eerily silent. Countless geniuses and elders were extremely shocked and dumbfounded. The first elder took a deep breath. A piercing light burst out from his eyes. He did it. That kid really did it. He knew that Lin Xian was not that simple. However, he was also shocked because he did not expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. How was that possible? I was pushed back. In the arena, Black Demon's body trembled. His eyes were bloodshot. He did not dare to believe it at all. However, the broken armor on his body and the injuries in his body told him that he was really pushed back. Moreover, he was injured. How could his opponent have such terrifying strength? Damn it! That kid had been hiding his strength. I'm going to kill you. Black Demon roared. Regardless of whether his opponent was hiding his strength or not, he was going crazy. He had never been pushed back by anyone other than Huangfu Beitian. He could not accept that. Kid, I'll kill you. Black Demon charged over again. An incomparable light burst out from his body like a black sun that was burning fiercely, illuminating the entire sky. Boundless demonic chi surged like waves that hung upside down in the sky. At that moment, the aura that Black Demon displayed was too shocking. It was extremely dangerous. Even the elders' faces were filled with fear. It's over. Black Demon is angry. Black Demon was really angry. He did not have such an aura when he fought Wang Qi and Xueling previously. That's right. He only displayed such a terrifying aura when he fought Huangfu Beitian. The Black Devil was actually going to use his true strength to fight. Lin Xian was definitely going to die. Lin Xian was not weak either. He was able to push Black Demon back with one punch. His strength was definitely in the top 5. That kid's sneak attack was nothing. Everyone was discussing and quarreling intensely. The scene was very chaotic. Of course, they were retreating as they discussed. That was because the aura that Black Demon displayed was too terrifying. They did not dare to get close at all. In the arena, Lin Xian felt the powerful aura of his opponent, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. Is he finally going to use his true strength? That's good. I can fight with my full strength. The sword light in his eyes was piercingly cold, and his voice was sonorous. What? Fight with his full strength? Everyone gasped. How dare he say that in the face of such a terrifying Black Demon? Could it be that this kid did not use his full strength before? That's really shocking. Fight with his full strength? You have no chance. Kid, I don't care what trump cards you have or what talent you have. You won't be able to escape death today. With a flip of his palm, Black Demon took out his black divine halberd. With a clang, the entire world seemed to be frozen. Boundless black aura rolled and turned into hell. A terrifying murderous aura soared into the sky. Boom. The attack fell, and the entire sky was filled with it. It was like a huge dragon descending. The boundless divine power surged endlessly, causing the spectators' hair to stand on end. At this moment, Yi Fei and the others trembled. Huangfu Beitian opened his eyes. Chapter 3052. Lin Xian's body glowed as a dragon's roar resounded from within his body. He pulled out the blazing Qilin sword and waved it. Terrifying sword qi shot out in all directions. Boom! The sword qi collided with the black demonic aura, producing an earth-shattering sound. The terrifying demonic aura was completely destroyed. It was destroyed. The surrounding geniuses were shocked. The elders swallowed their saliva frantically. Die for me. Black Demon's face turned ugly when he saw this. The black halberd in his hand slashed down again. The world was collapsing rapidly as the boundless demonic aura transformed into a terrifying divine ability. It wanted to tear Lin Xian apart. Lin Xian let out a long roar as a sharp sword light burst out from his eyes. The nine-yang sword technique slashed all the demonic aura. He was like a god of war as he charged over quickly. It was destroyed. It was all destroyed. The surrounding geniuses went crazy. Even Black Demon's face changed. Damn it. Impossible. I don't believe it. How could you destroy it so easily? Who are you? Who are you? Black Demon screamed crazily at this moment. It was too unbelievable. With his great ability, he could easily defeat people like Yi Fei and Xueling. But now, his divine ability was easily destroyed by the other party. Was the other party a newcomer? He wouldn't believe it even if he was beaten to death. Who was this person? Lin Xian actually blocked Black Demon's attack. Oh heavens, he was too terrifying. Not only that, he wasn't injured at all. This kid's strength was definitely not weaker than Black Demon's. What kind of divine being was this? Ha 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 kid, well done. The dark red divine dragon laughed in the crowd. Xin Jingqiu also clapped and cheered. In the distance, the corners of Qing Wu's mouth twitched. Her beautiful eyes were filled with shock. This kid was the successor of the Great Dragon Sword. Furthermore, he was the successor of the 9-yang divine body. How could he be weak? He set off the 9 heavy waves as soon as he arrived. How could he be weak? Rumor had it that he condensed the power of the moon spirit in 2 hours. I didn't believe it before, but now I'm starting to believe it. At this moment, all kinds of legends about Lin Xian were dug up again. Everyone was originally mocking and disdainful, but now they were terrified and trembling. That was because Lin Xian was too strong. How could such a person's legends be false? The surrounding geniuses were dumbfounded. Even Yi Fei, Xueling, and the rest were no exception. Not only them, but the elders were also dumbfounded. Their mouths were wide open. The great elder clenched his fists, his expression agitated. Ah! Only one person was incomparably furious, and that was the black demon. He roared crazily, and the sky split open. He was mad. He had never imagined that apart from Huangfu Beitian, there was actually someone who could contend against him. Lin Xian was Lin Xian's strength. On the other side, Lin Xian was unusually powerful. Golden blood qi surged into the sky and the sword qi in his hand shone brightly. Lin Xian's Lin was in Lin Xian's. Lin Xian was very excited because his opponent was an elite that was worthy of him taking seriously. Boom! Lin Xian's sword qi streaked across the sky. It seemed to be able to destroy everything. It was strange and terrifying. Lin Xian's sword qi tore through the void. Time seemed to have stopped. Everyone's bodies froze. They felt like they were about to be destroyed. What sword technique is that? It doesn't seem to be the nine-yang sword technique. No, what sword technique is that? Even the elders were shocked. The dark red divine dragon was also shocked. That brat's sword technique and sword qi have become stronger, especially his sword qi. It's much stronger than before. Where has that brat been for the past few days? Lin Xian had devoured many sword spirit beasts in the wasteland. That was why his sword qi had increased. Moreover, this sword technique was restored from the 13 sword scars. He called it the Green Lotus sword technique. He used the first sword technique of the Green Lotus sword technique and slash forward. Heaven-shattering 8 styles. On the other side, the black demon roared. His black halberd stirred the void like a mountain. The two collided. Terrifying sword qi flashed and boundless demonic qi shook. The entire world was shattered. However, after the first sword, the second sword followed. Lin Xian's sword technique broke through the void and hit the black halberd. The black demon's arm went numb and he kept retreating. Damn it! He's so strong. The black demon was shocked. It was the first time he experienced the power of the nine-yang divine body. This power caused his expression to change. He snorted coldly. He was unwilling to fight. He used his ultimate movement technique and walked quickly like a stream of light. He instantly charged forward. Buzz! Above his head, boundless demonic qi surged and turned into a black moon. It kept spinning. The black moon was like a millstone that could destroy the world, fixed in the void. A terrifying and mysterious aura spread out, pressing down on the prodigy below. This is the power of the moon spirit. It has been trained to such a terrifying level by the black demon. Brat, let's see how you'll die. The black demon shouted coldly. At this moment, he displayed his powerful combat strength. Lin Xian's expression was cold. The power of the moon spirit? A golden light appeared in his eyes. However, he did not immediately use the power of the moon spirit. Instead, he used the third and fourth sword of the Green Lotus sword technique. 2 piercingly cold sword techniques streaked across the sky, appearing mysterious and unfathomable, causing the entire sky to tremble. It's useless. You can't beat the power of my moon spirit. The black demon shouted. The black moon quickly pressed down. The third and fourth sword qi kept shaking and rolling. Then they cracked. Seeing this, the black demon laughed. I've said it before. From now on, I won't be defeated again. Indeed, he had sworn before that he would not be defeated again. Lin Xian snorted coldly after hearing this. Won't be defeated again? You're too naive. There are so many experts in the world. How dare you say that you won't be defeated again? What a joke. As he spoke, the fifth and sixth sword flew out. If one were to take a closer look, they would realize that Lin Xian's sword techniques could already form a lotus flower if they were to be combined. However, it was not a blooming lotus flower. Even so, it was still very terrifying. As expected, under the power of the fifth and sixth sword, the black moon kept rolling. The boundless demonic energy shattered the void. The black demon's expression changed. He roared angrily and activated the moon spirit again. The black moon fell crazily. Emph! Lin Xian sneered. Whoosh! 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 He used the first 6 sword techniques again. They formed a green lotus in the sky. With a clang, the green lotus blocked the black moon. Not only that, when the 7th sword chi was released, the green lotus bloomed and the black moon collapsed. The surrounding people all screamed. What kind of sword technique is this? It actually shattered the black moon. Heavens, how did he do it? The great elder's eyes flashed. This kid's strength has increased. As a sage, he could naturally see the changes in Lin Xian's strength. Chapter 3053. Thinking about it, it made sense. The ruins were split open by a peerless powerhouse, so there must be shocking sword intent and sword Dao secrets left on it. Lin Xian was also a swordsman, so he must have had a fortuitous encounter on it. Thinking of this, the first elder became even more excited. I wonder if this kid can defeat Heimo? Black Dragon Sky Diagram. Heimo roared again, his hair dancing wildly like a peerless demon king. The black halberd in his hand rose into the air and merged into the void. Not only that, Heimo opened his mouth and spat out a broken scroll. It merged with the black halberd and turned into a sky. A terrifying aura filled the air, and endless runes fell. It was too terrifying. What kind of ability was this? Everyone was shocked. They did not expect Heimo to have such a terrifying ability other than the apocalyptic black dragon wave. This ability was not used in the battle with Huangfu Beitian previously. It seemed that Heimo was indeed terrifying and had many trump cards. Seeing this, the first elder also shouted coldly and activated the defensive formation. Boom boom boom. Defensive formations appeared in the surroundings again. Obviously, the combat level had surpassed before and reached the level of Heimo and Huangfu Beitian. Huangfu Tian's eyes were piercingly cold as he stared at the 2 figures in the sky. There was also a trace of surprise in his eyes, because he did not expect Lin Xian to be able to display such strength. To be honest, he had never paid attention to Lin Xian before. Even Zhong Lingxiu he did not take a second look. Because in his opinion, although these 2 dark horses were powerful, they could only make it to the top 10. If they could not even make it to the top 5, let alone fight him. In the entire Full Moon Peak, he had no opponent at all. If there was an opponent, it would be the first place of the other 3 peaks. That was his true opponent. But now, the strength Lin Xian displayed surprised him. He could actually force Heimo to such a state. He could even activate the defensive formation of the Full Moon Peak. This surprised him greatly. Therefore, he could not help but start to pay attention to Lin Xian. Black Dragon Sky Diagram? Lin Xian looked up at the sky. Endless runes fell from the sky, and were split apart by his green lotus sword technique. At the same time, he waved his hand and a black war chariot appeared in front of him. This black war chariot was very simple and unadorned. The black lines on its surface were incomparably dark, as if they were made up of demonic runes. The moment he appeared, he attracted everyone's attention. What was that? A war chariot. Was it a magic treasure? He didn't know. Everyone was puzzled. Lin Xian struck out a spell, and instantly, a fiery dragon-shaped sword chi rushed out and coiled around the black chariot, forming a fiery dragon chariot. Wang. The fiery dragon chariot was activated. Countless runes flickered as it fought against the black dragon diagram in the sky. Then it defied the heavens and clashed with the black dragon diagram. When the 2 collided, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. It was as if the end of the world had arrived. The entire sky was blasted apart. Boundless energy surged, causing the surroundings to tremble. Fortunately, First Elder had activated the defensive array formation in advance. Otherwise, Full Moon Peak would have been smashed into pieces. It's useless. You can't block the black dragon transforming heavenly diagram. This was a saint's rune. No matter how strong you are, you won't be able to block it. Black Demon was extremely confident. But soon his face darkened and even became ferocious. That was because he realized that the other party had blocked it. Not only that, but the other party had even almost shattered his black dragon diagram. How was that possible? What was that black war chariot? Could it be that it also had a saint's rune? He was too shocked that the other party had such a thing in his hands. In his opinion, That was just an ordinary half-step sacred artifact. It could not be compared to his black dragon diagram at all. But now, it was out of his expectations. Lin Xian's eyes flickered with golden light. He naturally saw Black Demon's expression clearly. Immediately he sneered. Why? Are you very surprised? To be honest, I really didn't take you seriously. Hearing that, Black Demon was so angry that he vomited blood. Didn't take him seriously? What a joke. Even Huang Fubetian might not dare to say such a thing, but the other party dared to be so arrogant. Kid, I'll let you see my strongest attack. Speaking of that, the black halberd flew down from the black dragon diagram again, and was caught by Black Demon. In the next moment, Black Demon's right arm suddenly expanded. Countless black runes emitted a terrifying aura. Apocalyptic black dragon wave. Black Demon was going to unleash his strongest attack. At this moment, countless experts looked up at the sky, because they knew that the outcome would be decided soon. Lin Xian frowned. World Annihilation Black Dragon Wave? It was indeed very strong. He had seen it before. Its power surpassed the majority of divine abilities and could pose a threat to him. However, he had a way to break the World Annihilation Black Dragon Wave. He had seen it once before. Although the World Annihilation Black Dragon Wave was powerful, it also had flaws. Buzz. Golden runes flickered in his eyes. A golden moon floated up and down as if it wanted to pierce through everything. Useless kid, don't even think about breaking my World Annihilation Black Dragon Wave. The aura on Black Demon's body became more and more terrifying. The black halberd in his hand turned into a black dragon. The dragon opened its head and a terrifying energy rushed out. The sky fell and the earth cracked. The terrifying energy completely enveloped a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles, forming a huge black hole in the sky. Lin Xian felt a powerful force coming towards him. Buzz. He activated the Nine Yang Divine Body, and a powerful force bloomed. The energy of the World Annihilation Black Dragon Wave hit the Nine Yang Divine Body, and made an earth-shaking sound. Lin Xian faced the attack like a fiend god. Clang, 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 clang. He was under great pressure. There were even many places that became dim. However, the Nine Yang Divine Body was very powerful. It forcibly resisted the pressure, allowing Lin Xian's speed to reach the extreme. The long sword in Lin Xian's hand continued to bloom. The green lotus 13 swords were displayed by him, forming huge green lotuses that bloomed in the sky. They destroyed the terrifying World Annihilation Black Dragon Wave. Lin Xian arrived in front of Black Demon. How was this possible? Black Demon was stunned. In the distance, the elders were also stunned. Huang Fubetian's eyes burst out with a piercing cold light. It was like a divine blade that pierced through the void. They were too shocked. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. He could even face the World Annihilation Black Dragon Wave. The others were stunned. They couldn't see. The sky was pitch black and could even devour souls. What had happened? Xueling, Yi Fei, and the others also shook their heads. They couldn't see clearly. Perhaps Huang Fubetian could see clearly. They looked at Huang Fubetian. They saw Huang Fubetian stand up from his cultivation posture with his hands behind his back. His gaze was like a rainbow that could pierce through the front. It was even more so for the two judging elders. The first elder's gaze was like a divine lamp. There was a hint of excitement at the corner of his mouth. He knew that the outcome was about to be decided. Chapter 3054. So what if his opponent attacked him? He waved the halberd in his hand and stabbed at Lin Xian. Lin Xian did not dodge at all. His divine body glowed. With a clang, he blocked the halberd. However, the power of the Black Demon bloodline exploded, increasing the power of the halberd. With a puchi, it pierced through Lin Xian's body. In the sky, there was blood that scattered down, mixing with golden light as it scattered down. Someone was injured. Although the people below could not see the battle clearly, they could see the blood. It was golden blood. It was not the Black Demon's but Lin Xian's. Lin Xian was injured. Seeing this scene, Du Jiao Lan Yi and the other prodigies laughed. Ha ha ha. I knew that Lord Black Demon would not be injured. Of course, Lord Black Demon was so powerful that no one could defeat him except for Huangfu Beitian. Brother Lin Xian. Shen Jingqia was extremely nervous, and the dark red dragon was shocked. In the distance, Qing Wu snorted. That kid lost in the end. The others felt their scalps go numb. Even someone as strong as Lin Xian was defeated by the Black Demon. Could it be that only Huangfu Beitian could suppress the Black Demon? The elders also had the same expression. They sighed. Although he was defeated, it was glorious. Yes, that kid's strength was beyond their expectations. It seemed that he would become a member of the Full Moon Peak in less than 10 years. They were too excited. In the sky, in the endless flow of darkness, the Black Demon's lips curled into a sinister smile. Kid, you're injured. He was so excited that he finally injured his opponent. So what if his opponent had the 9 Yang Divine Body? It was not a greater success Divine Body. He could shatter it. Lin Xian smiled as well. You've lost. A piercing light burst out from his eyes, and the long sword in his hand stabbed out crazily. Red. Not good. The Black Demon felt a powerful threat. His glabella split open, and his soul was distorted as if it was about to be torn apart. He screamed crazily. His soul instantly soared into the sky, abandoning his physical body. There was no other way. That sword was too fatal. If he didn't run, his body and soul would probably be destroyed. In midair, the 2 judges were also stunned. Who would have thought that Lin Xian would have such a killer move? They wanted to attack quickly, but when they saw Black Demon's soul escape, they heaved a sigh of relief. Boom. Black Demon's glabella split open, and half of his body shattered. Black demonic blood dripped down, and fell to the ground along with his body. Below, those people were still discussing. The single-horned king, blue-winged king, and the others were laughing madly. They believed that their great black devil was unparalleled in this world. In the next moment, these people were all stunned. A black shadow fell down and landed on the arena, causing the arena to tremble nonstop. Everyone widened their eyes and looked ahead. Was the outcome already decided? It seemed that Lin Xian had been beaten down. He must have been seriously injured. Even if this kid didn't die, he would be half dead. No, it wasn't Lin Xian. It was black blood. It was Black Demon. Someone screamed. The next moment, everyone was stunned. What? Black Demon. They widened their eyes and looked carefully. His glabella was about to split open. It was really Black Demon. Black Demon's body fell on the arena. Black blood dyed the entire arena red. The surrounding void could not withstand the terrifying pressure of the bloodline. How was this possible? Yi Fei, Xueling, and the others were dumbfounded. Huangfu Beitian retracted his gaze and shook his head slightly. He also had a face of surprise. He did not expect Black Demon to be defeated. The other elders were also shocked. The first elder was extremely excited. He won. That kid actually won. His potential was simply too great. Whoosh. The clouds broke open, and the darkness was torn apart. Endless golden light scattered down. Lin Xian landed powerfully. He held the fire Qilin sword in one hand and the black halberd in the other. Like a god of war, he arrived on the arena. Although his body was injured and his 9 Yang divine body was pierced, he still won this battle. Even the piercing wound did not pose a fatal threat to him. At this moment, everyone's mind was still in a daze. Especially the single-horned king, blue-winged king, and the others. Their faces were pale and terrified. That's not right. Why didn't Black Demon move? Could it be that he was killed? Someone screamed. Indeed, they saw Black Demon's body split open. It was very terrifying. However, he did not move at all. In fact, he did not even have any aura. That shocked them. No way, Lin Xian killed Black Demon in front of the judges? They were about to pee their pants. No, look above. Yi Fei's eyes were like a rainbow. He finally saw the state of both sides. Everyone raised their heads and saw a black shadow floating above, as if it did not dare to come down. Was that Black Demon's soul? Heavens! His soul was forced out of his body and did not dare to come down. What did Lin Xian do? No one knew. Just now it was wrapped in endless darkness. No one saw it clearly. Probably apart from those elders, only Huangfu Beitian could see it clearly. Everyone looked at Huangfu Beitian. Huang Fu Beitian did not say anything. He did see it clearly. That sword move made him a little moved. What kind of sword move was that? If Black Demon did not run fast enough, his soul would have been destroyed by now. This kid was really a sword Dao genius. Huang Fu Beitian felt pressure for the first time, and it was a heavy pressure. Black Demon could not give him this kind of pressure. Only the number one of the other peaks could give him this kind of pressure. But now a newcomer of Full Moon Peak actually gave him such pressure. This made him feel incredulous. Winner Lin Xian. The judge hurriedly announced the victory. Lin Xian threw the black halberd on the ground, put away the flaming war chariot, and turned to leave the arena. After Lin Xian completely left, Black Demon's soul in the sky dared to descend. He merged into his body and instantly erupted with endless demonic energy. Black Demon's face was extremely ugly. He stared at Lin Xian, but he did not dare to step forward. Because he was really afraid. This battle ended with Lin Xian's victory. Everyone went crazy. They did not expect Lin Xian to be so strong. He actually defeated Black Demon. Everyone trembled. Blue Wing King, One Horn King, Yu Song, and the others did not dare to speak. They were even about to kneel down. From now on, they would never dare to provoke Lin Xian again. They were even afraid of Lin Xian's revenge. There was no other way. Even their boss, Black Demon, was not a match for him, let alone them. When they thought of how they provoked him so recklessly, they almost fainted from fright. Bang! 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 One Horn King and Blue Wing King even knelt down and kowtowed to apologize. This scene made everyone dumbfounded. This was Lin Xian's power. Big brother Lin Xian, are you okay? Shen Jingqiu saw the blood on Lin Xian's body and was very nervous. Lin Xian shook his head and swallowed 2 heaven and earth treasures. The 9 Yang divine body bloomed with light and began to repair. Chapter 30:55. Lin Xian said with a smile, I went to a good place, I'll bring you along next time. While they were discussing, countless gazes were cast over. There was a mysterious aura in Zhong Lingxia's eyes as if she wanted to see through Lin Xian. The others had a look of horror and awe. In the distance, Qingwu was also stunned. Her beautiful eyes were wide open. That guy actually won? She really couldn't believe it. Damn it, I have to tell my brother. This kid is a great enemy. Qingwu didn't see any more matches and turned around to soar into the sky. Not only her, but the other 3 peaks also had prodigies who came to watch the battle. They had heard of Lin Xian before. However, they never thought that Lin Xian would be so powerful. This battle had already caused them to be terrified. They had to hurry back to report that in addition to Huang Fu Beitian, Lin Xian also came from Full Moon Peak. Next, the competition continued. Although it was also exciting, it was much worse than the battle between Lin Xian and He Mo. It was the 5th Wang Qi's turn. Wang Qi challenged Xueling, but he lost to Xueling in the end. Xueling also failed to challenge Yi Fei. Yu Fei took a deep breath and looked at Lin Xian and Huang Fu Beitian. He didn't challenge Lin Xian, but Huang Fu Beitian. That was because he wanted to see how strong Huang Fu Beitian was. Previously, he had used his flying dagger technique, but he was directly sent flying by Huang Fu Beitian's blade. He didn't dare to take that sharp blade light head-on at all. Just the overflowing aura alone left dozens of blade marks on his body. Therefore, Yi Fei decisively admitted defeat. However, that was also very shocking, because they realized that Huang Fu Beitian didn't dodge because he couldn't dodge Yi Fei's blade. Thinking of that possibility, their hearts beat wildly. Even the elders were breathing rapidly. If this Yi Fei was a bit stronger, perhaps even Huang Fu Beitian would not dare to take his flying daggers head-on. Next, it was He Mo's turn. He Mo first stared at Lin Xian and gritted his teeth. To be honest, he really didn't dare to believe that he would lose to Yi Fei. He wanted revenge. However, he soon gave up. He realized that Lin Xian's recovery was even faster than his. Although he had recovered from most of his injuries, there was still some sword intent left in his body. He was unable to unleash 100% of his strength. And from the looks of it, the other party had already fully recovered. No, he couldn't take the risk. He had to get one of the top 3 spots. How pitiful was the moon-gazing wordless monument. Black Devil didn't challenge Lin Xian or Huangfu Beitian. He challenged Yi Fei instead. In the end he defeated Yi Fei. Yi Fei sighed. Originally he had occupied third place and was able to comprehend the moon-gazing wordless steel. However, because of Lin Xian's strong entrance, he was only able to occupy fourth place. Finally, all the matches were arranged. First, Huangfu Beitian. Second, Lin Xian. Third, Black Devil. Fourth, Yi Fei. Fifth, Xueling. Sixth, Wang Qi. Seventh, Lu Yanan. At this point, the top three were out. Everyone was shocked. Huangfu Beitian was still the champion, and he was number 1. The Black Devil was now number 3. The second place was Lin Xian. He was a newcomer who had just joined the moon-gazing peak a few months ago. Everyone was astounded, feeling that it was unreal. At the same time, some became excited. I wonder how this Lin Xian would fare against Huangfu Beitian. Do you think he could defeat Huangfu Beitian? No idea. It was hard to say, but it might be possible. The crowd discussed among themselves as Lin Xian and Huangfu Beitian had yet to fight. Huangfu Beitian was not required to challenge anyone as the champion. Meanwhile, Lin Xian had already used up his 2 chances to challenge someone. He could not challenge anyone again. Thus, the 2 of them did not fight. As such, no one knew about it. Hearing this, Lin Xian glanced at Huangfu Beitian beside him. Huangfu Beitian also turned his head toward him. Their gazes clashed in the air. Suddenly, a saber glow and a sword intent soared into the sky, intertwining and tearing the clouds apart. How powerful! The crowd was shocked. Even the Black Devil took a step back. The auras of these 2 were too powerful, to the point that even he was shocked. Damn it! The Black Devil clenched his teeth so hard that they were about to shatter. He swore that he would not be defeated again. However, he did not expect to be slapped in the face so soon. He was defeated by Lin Xian. Now it seemed like these 2 had completely surpassed him. No, I must comprehend the moon-gazing wordless steel. I must surpass these 2. I am the strongest. The Black Devil let out a furious roar. On the other side, Lin Xian was shocked. This Huangfu Beitian was very powerful. He was far stronger than the Black Devil. I wonder what the outcome would be if I were to fight him. He could not deduce the outcome now. He would only know if he were to fight him. On the other side, Huangfu Beitian was equally shocked. He did not expect Wang Yefeng to have someone who could threaten him. He could not see through Lin Xian's strength. The first elder walked over with a smile. He was very satisfied with the outcome of the battle. Lin Xian's performance gave him a pleasant surprise. He announced the result of the competition, and then gave out rewards to everyone. Everyone had a reward. However, there were many rewards for the top 10, and even more for the top 3. Each of the top 3 received a chance to go to the moon-gazing lake again. At the same time, the most important reward was that the top 3 had a chance to comprehend the moon-gazing wordless steel. This was a great opportunity. If they could comprehend the moon-gazing wordless steel, they would soar into the sky. At that time, they might be able to defeat the Northern Demon and become the number 1 person in the House of Prodigy. Next, everyone dispersed and received their rewards. The moon-gazing wordless steel would open in 10 days. Lin Xian, Huangfu Beitian, and the Black Devil would take advantage of this period to enter the moon-gazing lake and cultivate for half a day. Entering the moon-gazing lake again, Lin Xian felt a powerful force enveloping him. This force made him feel very comfortable. Of course, he was not careless and absorbed it with all his might. Outside, everyone was watching. Heavens! Lin Xian had condensed the 9 heavy waves. Everyone exclaimed. It could not be helped. Although Lin Xian was only ranked 2nd on the moon-gazing peak, the scene of him entering the moon-gazing lake was even more shocking than Huangfu Beitian. Not to mention Huangfu Beitian, even the number 1 person in the House of Prodigy, the Northern Demon, could not be compared to him. The 9 heavy waves surged between the heavens and earth, leaving everyone stunned. At the bottom of the lake, Lin Xian opened his eyes. Half a day of cultivation had greatly improved his strength, which was equivalent to hundreds of years of cultivation in the outside world. His strength had improved to the mid-9-star realm, and the force in his body was much stronger. After coming out, Lin Xian was overjoyed. He spent the remaining 9 days to consolidate his strength. Huangfu Beitian and the Black Devil also came out. They had both improved and went into seclusion to consolidate their strength. The other geniuses were also nervous and waited patiently. In a few days, the moon-gazing wordless stele would open again. Chapter 3056. But they knew that the chances this time would probably be much greater than before. After all, there was an additional Lin Xian. And Lin Xian was the same as Yi Guqing back then, stirring up the 9 heavy waves. In fact, Lu Yanan and a few others knew that the other party condensed the moon soul in 2 hours. This kind of talent could be rated as heaven-defying, even more terrifying than Yi Guqing. Back then, Yi Guqing successfully comprehended the moon-gazing wordless stele. Wonder if Lin Xian could successfully comprehend it this time? Everyone, including Head Elder and the rest, carried a feeling of anticipation and nervousness. 9 days passed. Finally, the 10th day arrived. The blazing sun rose, sunlight sprinkling all over moon-gazing peak. On this day, everyone woke up early, everyone was excited. They knew that today was the day the moon-gazing wordless stele opened. Yi Fei came, Xueling came, Wang Ji came, those people all came. Black Fiend came out. The aura on his body was even more terrifying than 10 days ago. However, his expression was somewhat gloomy and cold. Very clearly, the defeat previously made him very unhappy. Huangfu Beitian also appeared, carrying a long saber on his back, like a saber god. His gaze looked around. When he saw Black Fiend, he only gave him a glance and ignored him. Because Black Fiend was not his match. He was looking for someone who could give him pressure. That person was naturally Lin Xian. Not just him, Black Fiend was also looking for the other party. Head Elder Yi Fei and the rest were also looking. Very soon, their brows raised. They discovered that the other party had arrived. Lin Xian was still dressed in red robes, his face handsome. He was abnormally calm as he walked over. Everyone's gaze fell on him. Black Fiend snorted coldly, his eyes erupting with piercing cold-killing intent. Huangfu Beitian's gaze was deep. Zhong Lingxiu had a mysterious look. However, everyone was stunned. They could not see through Lin Xian's actual situation. Those elders were also surprised. Head Elder sighed. This kid was very mysterious. Indeed, if he did not execute law, he could not see clearly. Lin Xian's arrival undoubtedly attracted everyone's attention. One after another, discussions and exclamations fell on him. The void cracked open, and in the sky, there were no logical laws floating. The sage had arrived. Had the Peak Lord come out of seclusion? Everyone looked up and saw a middle-aged man in a Taoist robe descending from the sky. It was the Peak Lord of the Full Moon Peak. The Peak Master of the Full Moon Peak looked to be in his 30s, but everyone knew that he was an old monster who had lived for thousands of years. Everyone cupped their fists and bowed, greeting the Peak Lord. The Full Moon Peak Master nodded slightly. The first elder and the other elders also walked over. At the same time, the Grand Elder spoke in a deep voice. Huangfu Beitian, Lin Xian, Heimo, the 3 of you step forward. Hearing this, Lin Xian and the other 2 walked forward while the others watched nervously from behind. Yi Fei, Xueling, and the others' eyes were filled with envy. Because they were not qualified. Only the 3 people in front of him were qualified to comprehend it. Stars flickered in the Peak Master's eyes as he scanned Huangfu Beitian and Lin Xian with the power of the laws. He nodded slightly. Although he already knew the results of the competition, he was still surprised when he saw Lin Xian again. He did not expect Lin Xian to be able to make it to the top 3, and even defeat Heimo to obtain a spot to comprehend the full moon wordless stele. It was a pleasant surprise. Let's go. The Peak Master turned around and walked forward. The laws under his feet flickered, forming a path that carried him into the sky. The first elder and the others also followed. Lin Xian and the others rose into the sky, and behind them, the geniuses of the Full Moon Peak also followed behind. They were very excited. Although the Full Moon Peak was named after a mountain, its territory was very large. This time, their target was the mountain that was tens of thousands of feet tall. That was the main peak of the Full Moon Peak. Soon everyone arrived in front of the main peak. Lin Xian and the others raised their heads and looked forward, exclaiming in their hearts. It was also his first time observing the full moon peak at such a close distance. The dark red dragon beside him muttered, "What a mysterious aura." The full moon peak was not simple. As a formation master, he could naturally feel the terrifying and mysterious power coming from the full moon peak. Buzz. At this moment, there were laws waving between heaven and earth, piercing through the void and complementing each other. The people of the full moon peak raised their heads. Those disciples exclaimed, "Another sage is here." Yi Fei and the others were shocked, and they explained in a low voice that the peak masters of the other 3 peaks were here. Indeed, the peak masters of the ethereal peak, exquisite peak, and divine strategy peak were all here. After all, opening the full moon wordless steel was an earth-shattering event in the extraordinary warrior manner. How could they not be here? The 3 peak masters stood in the void like god-fiends. In addition to the peak masters of the 3 peaks, the top geniuses and elders were also here. It could be said that the entire extraordinary warrior manor was in turmoil. In the air, a woman in a green robe with a beautiful face attracted everyone's attention. "Fairy Qingwu," everyone exclaimed. Beside Qingwu, there was a demonic man with a slender figure and a handsome face. His eyes even carried a mysterious power. He was the top person of the ethereal peak, the North Demon. On the other side at Exquisite Peak, there was a woman in a red robe with a veil on her face, and her aura was exquisite. She was the top person of the Exquisite Peak, named Yuling Long. There was another person who was wearing a battle armor with runes flowing on his body, shining brightly like a god of war. He was the top person of Divine Strategy Peak, Han Fei. In addition to the top people of the 3 peaks, the top geniuses of the other top geniuses were also here. All eyes fell on Lin Xian, Huangfu Beitian, and He Mo. Of course, most of them were looking at Lin Xian, because they were already very familiar with Huangfu Beitian and He Mo, but Lin Xian was very unfamiliar to them. They knew that he was a newcomer. At the same time, they were surprised that a newcomer could obtain the 2nd place. It was really shocking. In the distance, Qingwu was fuming. She was very unhappy. This guy really succeeded. I'm so angry. He definitely won't be able to comprehend the full moon wordless steel. Seeing Qingwu's angry look, the North Demon rubbed her hair and said, "Why do you have to be angry with yourself? He didn't provoke you." "Who said that?" "I can't stand his smug look." Qingwu pouted. The North Demon's eyes flickered as he looked at the young man in red. "This kid is very strong and will definitely be a great enemy in the future. I just didn't expect him to grow so quickly. I wonder if he can comprehend the full moon wordless steel?" Not only him, but Yu Linglong and Han Fei also had the same thought. It couldn't be helped. The full moon wordless steel was too famous. It was rumored that it was the top divine steel of the extraordinary warrior residence. Whoever could comprehend it would be the top person of the extraordinary warrior residence. Chapter 3057. Back then, Yi Guqing had already comprehended the moon-gazing wordless steel. Even though he hadn't fully comprehended it, he had already displayed such powerful strength. In the end, he died because of an accident. Otherwise, he would definitely be a great sage, or even a great emperor. Therefore, because of Yi Guqing's legend, the moon-gazing wordless steel became even more mysterious. After all, other than Yi Guqing, no one had been able to comprehend the moon-gazing wordless steel for tens of thousands of years. The peak masters of the 3 peaks also had solemn expressions, because they knew how special the moon-gazing wordless steel was. The 3 peaks also had mysterious inscriptions, but that was the holy grail left behind by the sage. But the moon-gazing wordless steel was different. Its origin was more spiritual, far surpassing the holy steel. That was why it was so difficult to cultivate. And once cultivated, its power was extremely terrifying. Seeing that the other 3 peak masters, elders, and prodigies had all arrived, the peak master of the moon-gazing peak was not surprised. He took a deep breath, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. Endless laws enveloped him. In the next moment, he struck out one ancient Tao pattern after another, which appeared in the sky. then floated towards the moon-gazing peak. Buzz buzz buzz. As one Dao pattern after another floated into the moon-gazing peak, the entire peak also changed. The sky was shrouded in light, illuminating the entire world. Not only that, but it also trembled violently. A crack appeared in the middle of the moon-gazing peak, and it quickly spread to both sides. Seeing this scene, the surrounding prodigies widened their eyes. The moon-gazing peak was split open. Lin Xian was also surprised. This scene was too shocking. It was as if an invisible divine sword had split the moon-gazing peak from the middle. Dark Red Shenfei was even more shocked. He discovered that there was actually another world inside the split moon-gazing peak. Inside, ancient trees and mountains towered into the clouds. The vines were as thick as pythons. They were like huge dragons, carrying with them boundless strength. A powerful vitality was emitted from inside. The inside of the moon-gazing peak was actually like this. Lin Xian and the others were extremely shocked. It was too mysterious. That should be the moon-gazing wordless steel. They discovered that there was a stone stele inside. It was abnormally large. It stood tall on the earth. The stone monument was surrounded by vines and ancient trees, but the surface of the stone monument was as smooth as a mirror. There was nothing on it. The entire stone tablet was completely black. It was 100 feet tall, and its surface was as smooth as a mirror. There were no marks on it. Was this the moongazer wordless stele? Everyone began to tremble when they sensed the prehistoric aura in front of them. Even the peak masters of the 4 great peaks wore stern expressions. Huang Fubaishan's eyes lit up. Heimo was so excited that he started trembling. Yi Fei, Wang Qi, Xueling, and the others' eyes turned red. Zhong Lingxia's eyes flickered with a mysterious light as she stared at the wordless mountain-gazing stele in front of her. Not only those from the full moon peak, but the geniuses from the exquisite peak, the divine strategy peak, and the misty peak also had fiery gazes. Even the North Yao's eyes shone with a shocking light. Previously, as the number 1 person in the outstanding scholar mansion, he had also wanted to comprehend the moongazer wordless stele. However, he had failed in the end. This made him realize that he was not fated to comprehend the moongazer wordless stele. Hence, he could only try to comprehend the misty sacred stele of the misty peak. Lin Xian was equally shocked. Not only that, but there was also a strange movement in his body. This strange movement gave Lin Xian a fright. There were no marks on the moongazer wordless stele. Hence, Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret god eyes to see if there were any secrets hidden within. Golden runes flickered. Lin Xian looked in front of him. However, he realized that the moongazer wordless stele was too mysterious. It was as if there was a wisp of heavenly secret blocking everything. It was indeed mysterious. Was this the moongazer wordless stele? Even the heavenly secret god eyes could not see through it. Lin Xian was shocked. However, at this moment, the mysterious small sword in his body vibrated. Not only that, the great dragon sword soul was also operating rapidly, trying to soar into the sky. What was going on? Lin Xian was shocked as he suppressed the great dragon sword soul. It seemed like the great dragon sword soul was targeting the moongazer wordless stele. How could this be? And this mysterious small sword actually caused the moongazer wordless stele to vibrate again. It even produced a sense of hostility. What was going on? Lin Xian did not know. He guessed that it might be because Yi Guqing had once comprehended the moongazer wordless stele. Hence, when the great dragon sword soul came before the moongazer wordless stele again, there would be a strange change. However, he did not know if this was the reason. Other than Lin Xian, no one else knew about this change in his body. Not even the 4 peak masters knew about it. The full moon peak master turned to Lin Xian and the other 2 and said in a deep voice, "The 3 of you, go ahead and comprehend it." Huang Fubaitian nodded solemnly. Heimo's eyes were red as he trembled with excitement. Lin Xian's heart was heavy. At this moment, the full moon peak master reminded them again. The moongazer wordless stele had a mysterious origin and contained heavenly secrets. Whether they could comprehend it or not depended on their luck. Just do your best and don't force it. Lin Xian and the other 2 nodded. They also understood this principle. Then the peak master did not say anything else. The entire place fell silent. All eyes fell on Lin Xian, Huangfu Beitian, and Heimo. Huangfu Beitian soared into the sky while Heimo roared and turned into a black lightning bolt, rushing forward. Both of them were very fast and arrived in front of the moongazer wordless steel in an instant. Lin Xian also took a deep breath and strode forward. Soon he arrived. He realized that the great dragon sword soul in his body was trembling more violently. Fortunately, he had merged with the great dragon sword soul and could suppress it. Lin Xian stood in front of the moongazer wordless steel. He did not immediately sit down to comprehend it. Instead, he reached out his hand and gently touched the black surface of the steel. The surface was shiny and smooth. However, when he touched the black steel, the great dragon sword soul in his body roared. The mysterious little sword shuddered slightly. A peerless aura spread out. However, it soon disappeared. The great dragon sword soul's roar sounded in Lin Xian's body, but it was blocked by Lin Xian and did not spread out. However, he could not block the aura emitted by the mysterious small sword. Buzz. He turned his head slightly and looked behind him. Previously, those people behind him did not seem to notice anything unusual, as if they did not notice this peerless killing intent. Only the peak masters of the 4 peaks raised their brows. What's going on? Why do I feel a mysterious aura flowing out? When they checked again, they found that the mysterious aura had disappeared without a trace. No one noticed it. Lin Xian was stunned. At the same time, he was even more puzzled. Why? Why would the great dragon sword soul and the mysterious small sword in his body change like this after encountering the moongazer wordless steel? Chapter 3058. After all, whether it was the dragon sword soul or the mysterious small sword, their origins were too mysterious. Perhaps he had encountered the moon-gazing wordless steel before. Seeing Lin Xian standing in front of the moon-gazing wordless steel, the elders and geniuses behind him were also discussing. What was this kid doing? Why wasn't he comprehending? He couldn't have been scared silly, right? That shouldn't be the case. Could it be that he had discovered something special? Everyone was puzzled. Because at this moment, Huangfu Beitian and Heimo had already sat down cross-legged, found a place, and began to comprehend. Brother Lin Xian should be fine, right? Shen Jingqiu was a little worried. The dark rainbow dragon nodded and said, "Don't worry, this kid will definitely be fine." Although he said that, he was still a little worried in his heart. After all, the aura from the moon-gazing wordless steel was too mysterious. In front, Lin Xian retracted his palm, found a place and slowly sat down. He closed his eyes and began to comprehend. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Time passed slowly, but no one left. Instead, more and more people gathered here. Everyone was waiting silently. They knew that comprehending was a long process. "Brother, how magical is the moon-gazing wordless steel? Why can't you comprehend it?" In the distance, Qingwu asked softly. The North Demon shook his head. "I once tried to comprehend it. At that time, I closed my eyes and seemed to have entered a strange world. Everything around was gray, as if there was nothing at the beginning of the chaos. I tried to search inside, and I kept walking in one direction. After walking for a month, I found nothing. That kind of despair had already filled my heart. So, I was forced to retreat." "What? There was nothing at the beginning of the chaos. Then how can I comprehend it?" After hearing that, Qingwu's eyes widened. "I don't know. Maybe they have a way. Maybe they can't comprehend it." Indeed, Huangfu Beitian and Heimo also encountered a similar situation. They seemed to be in a strange world, and their surroundings were like the beginning of the chaos. They couldn't see anything. The two of them seemed to have been exiled in the universe and began to search. On the other side, Lin Xian was the same. He felt that his surroundings were gray, and there was no sound or light. There was no one, not to mention any runes or secrets. It was as if he was the only one left in the world. Was this the moongazer wordless steel? Lin Xian frowned. He carefully tried to sense it, but he couldn't sense anything. How was he supposed to comprehend it? Previously, Xiaochen had already learned about the heaven steels of the other 3 peaks. The Tao patterns of the saints were engraved on it, so it could be comprehended directly. This moongazer wordless steel was much more mysterious and strange compared to the others. Lin Xian took a deep breath and decided to take a risk and try using the Great Dragon Sword Soul. After all, the Great Dragon Sword Soul had already tried to rush out to attack him before he had even comprehended the Great Dragon Sword Soul. Now that he had used the Great Dragon Sword Soul, it was very likely that it would cause unexpected consequences. However, he had no other choice. He could only give it a try. Lin Xian used the Great Dragon Sword Soul to destroy the surrounding chaotic nothingness. The Great Dragon Sword Spirit was an offensive saint technique that could destroy everything. As expected, the surrounding chaotic void was slashed apart. Lin Xian felt that his vision around him had become clearer. He decided on a direction and moved forward. His body and sword merged into a ray of sword light and rushed forward. He would destroy all the chaotic nothingness along the way. He didn't believe that there was no end to this world. In the blink of an eye, 10 days passed. Everyone was still waiting silently. Suddenly, the peak master of the Moongazer Peak's eyes lit up and became sharp. The peak masters of the other 3 peaks also turned their heads and stared down. Under the Moongazer wordless steel, Black Demon's body trembled slightly. His forehead was covered in cold sweat, and his tightly shut eyes were tightly furrowed. It was as if he had encountered something painful. Not good. Black Demon was about to fail. The North Monster was no stranger to this situation. He knew that Black Demon's will was about to collapse. He couldn't withstand the chaotic nothingness at all. Because there was only one person in the world. There was no hope, nothing, and he would definitely despair. It was already very difficult for Black Demon to hold on for 10 days. Moreover, the North Monster had comprehended it once. He knew that the flow of time inside was different from outside. 10 days outside might be 100 or 200 years inside. No matter how strong a person was, they would collapse. As expected, Black Demon suddenly opened his eyes and roared at the sky. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground, twitching nonstop. Seeing this, the surrounding prodigies and elders were in an uproar. The first elder sighed, his face full of disappointment. Did he fail? The peak master of the Moongazer Peak also shook his head slightly. With a flip of his hand, the wind and clouds in front of him tumbled and wrapped around Black Demon, then sent him out. Treat his injuries. The Moongazer Peak's peak master said in a low voice. The surrounding elders went forward to treat Heimo's injuries. As for the others, they shifted their gazes away from Heimo and looked to the front. Now only Huangfu Beitian and Lin Xian were left. They wondered if the 2 of them could comprehend it. Another 5 days passed. Huangfu Beitian's body also trembled slightly. Large beads of sweat flowed down her forehead. Seeing this, the first elder and the others became nervous again. The elders and prodigies of the other peaks were also paying close attention. Could it be that Huangfu Beitian couldn't hold on anymore? It seemed like that was the case. Huangfu Beitian's talent and strength both surpassed Black Demon's, but he only lasted 5 days longer than Black Demon. As expected, an hour later, Huangfu Beitian suddenly opened his eyes and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was completely pale. It was obvious that he was on the verge of collapsing. The elders and the prodigies of the Moongazer Peak let out sighs. Failed, even Huangfu Beitian had failed. Could it be that there was really no one left with money? In their hearts, Huangfu Beitian was a godlike existence. No one dared to challenge him due to his outstanding strength. Even against Black Demon, Huangfu Beitian could easily defeat him. Such a person was definitely a lot-ifying genius. However, even Huangfu Beitian had failed. It was a great blow to the Moongazer Peak. The peak master of the Moongazer Peak shook his head and waved his hand. The clouds encapsulated Huangfu Beitian and sent him out too. Huangfu Beitian wore a wry smile as he glanced at Black Demon, who was sent out in advance. Black Demon had failed too? He had failed too. Wait, where's Lin Xian? He scanned his surroundings. Only he and Black Demon were resting. Lin Xian was nowhere to be seen. Could it be that the kid had not failed yet? Huangfu Beitian's eyes widened as he thought of the possibility. He glanced at Black Demon. Black Demon wore an unpleasant expression as he realized that Lin Xian had not failed yet. He had failed, and so had Huangfu Beitian, but Lin Xian was still holding on. Chapter 3059. Meanwhile, his figure began to tremble slightly. Could it be that Qin Nan's talent had surpassed Huangfu Beitian's? He could not help but feel extremely jealous. Huangfu Beitian was astounded too. In his opinion, Lin Xian had already lost the battle, but that was not the case. This guy was still holding on. Huangfu Beitian's figure began to tremble too. Meanwhile, everyone's attention was focused on the red-shirt young man. The first elder's eyes were filled with excitement and nervousness. He had no idea how this kid would react. Would he succeed? The peak leader of the full moon peak had a hint of anticipation too. The peak leaders of the other peaks discussed in whispers as their eyes flickered. This kid was holding on even longer than Huangfu Beitian. He must be the successor of the Dragon King, as expected of the rumors. That's right, Yi Guqing was also the successor of the Dragon King. Perhaps this kid could really create a miracle. Not necessarily, as Yi Guqing was only able to comprehend it by coincidence. Even though this kid was the successor of the Dragon King, it would still be extremely difficult for him to comprehend it. The peak leaders discussed in whispers. Meanwhile, the geniuses and elders of the four peaks were dumbfounded too. Lin Xian had no idea what was happening outside. He was still one with the sword, maintaining the same posture as he pierced through the void. Anyone else would have lost their mind by now. However, as a swordsman, Lin Xian had a firm will. On top of that, it had been extremely difficult for him to reach this point. Thus, even now, when faced with the primal chaos void, a scene that could cause one to despair and collapse, he was still able to forcibly endure it. After flying for an unknown period of time, perhaps hundreds or even thousands of years, Lin Xian's brows suddenly twitched as he realized that there was finally a change in front of him. That's great! Lin Xian was overjoyed as he increased his speed. Buzz! He arrived at the front. Although his surroundings were still filled with chaos, something black could be seen ahead. A black lotus emitted an eerie glow. What was that? Lin Xian's eyes widened as he saw the black lotus, causing his expression to turn unpleasant. He couldn't be more familiar with this thing. Previously, there was a black lotus in his body that sealed off his spiritual vein, preventing him from cultivating. If it weren't for the sword-shaped pendant, Lin Xian might not have been able to cultivate for the rest of his life. Therefore, how could he forget about the black lotus? However, he had never imagined that he would encounter the black lotus that sealed his spirit meridians here. What was going on? Why was it like this? Lin Xian was dumbfounded. As a matter of fact, he had no idea why there was a black lotus in his body, why it was sealing off his spiritual vein. No one had ever told him that. Lord Alcohol hadn't, and neither had his father Lin Zhan. Furthermore, Lin Xian had gradually forgotten about this matter. After all, ever since he had obtained the mysterious little sword, the black lotus had been destroyed. From then on, such a thing never happened to her body again. Furthermore, he had never seen the black lotus again. But now, he actually saw it again in the moon-gazer wordless steel. Could it be that the black lotus existed in the moon-gazing wordless steel? Was it the moon-gazing wordless steel that sealed him? But why? The moon-gazing wordless steel was the most mysterious inscription on the moon-gazing peak. At that time, he was just a weak creature in the dust. Why would the moon-gazing wordless steel seal him? Lin Xian could not figure it out. It did not make sense. Could it be because of his father? Lin Xian had always thought that his father was very mysterious. He was already a super saint like Xiajiuyo. One had to know that super saints were extremely rare. There were not many of them in the world. Moreover, it was extremely difficult to cultivate them. His father was one of them. He did not know if his father had obtained a great opportunity after coming to the true spirit continent, or if his father had been hiding his strength when he was in the Sword Pool Mansion. It was all a mystery. Could it be an illusion? Is it a test for me? Suddenly, Lin Xian had such a thought. After all, the moon-gazing wordless steel was incomparably mysterious. Perhaps it had created an illusion to make Lin Xian face his greatest fear. For Lin Xian, the most frightening thing was to be sealed up once more. However, Just as Lin Xian thought that it was an illusion, the black lotus in front of him suddenly moved. Countless lotuses surged toward him, densely packed and shrouding him. Lin Xian could feel a sealing power surging toward him, as if it was trying to seal him once again. Not good. Lin Xian was shocked, and a biting cold light burst out from his eyes. Get lost. At this moment, he used the great dragon sword soul again. A dragon shadow rushed out, turning into a divine sword and sweeping in all directions. These black lotuses were simply too bizarre. The great dragon sword soul's powerful attack had only managed to push them back. It hadn't managed to cut them into pieces. What was this thing? Lin Xian now suspected that all of this was a dream. More and more black lotuses kept spewing out, but fortunately, Lin Xian had the great dragon sword soul, and could still resist. But it was only for self-defense. However, at this critical moment, the mysterious small sword in Lin Xian's body trembled slightly. A sword light illuminated the surroundings. Buzz. Many black lotuses were completely destroyed, and a bloody path was opened between heaven and earth. Buzz buzz buzz. The surrounding black lotuses quickly retreated, and returned to their original places. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. What was this lotus? Even the great dragon sword soul could not do anything to it. Fortunately, he still had the mysterious small sword in his body. Otherwise, this time it would be really dangerous. Lin Xian withdrew his thoughts and looked ahead carefully. In the next moment, he was extremely shocked. He finally saw the black lotuses and the surrounding scene clearly. In front of him, there was also a black stone tablet. There were no words, and it was as smooth as a mirror. This scene was like the moon-gazing wordless steel in the outside world. It was just that its appearance and shape were much smaller, but the aura on it was even more terrifying. However, on this moon-gazing wordless steel, there were black lotuses crawling all over. Could it be that this moon-gazing wordless steel was sealed by the lotuses? Such a thought suddenly popped up in Lin Xian's mind. And the more he thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. Damn it, what was going on? This lotus did not belong to the moon-gazing wordless steel, but it grew here. It was specially used to seal the moon-gazing wordless steel. But why did it seal the moon-gazing wordless steel? Moreover, this black lotus had sealed him before. Was there any connection or similarity between it and the moon-gazing wordless steel? Lin Xian did not know. Buzz buzz buzz. In front of him, on the moon-gazing wordless steel, there was a primitive aura that emitted a wave. You are here. Although it wasn't a sound and was merely a ripple, Lin Xian was able to clearly sense the meaning behind it. You are conscious. Chapter 3060. Suddenly he thought of something. Perhaps this was some kind of weapon spirit, because some powerful weapons would have spiritual wisdom. For example, an extreme weapon contained a terrifying weapon spirit that was usually asleep, but once it woke up, the power of an extreme weapon would be fully unleashed. In addition to extreme weapons, sacred weapons also had weapon spirits, but it had to be an extremely terrifying sacred weapon. In other words, the more terrifying the weapon was, the more likely it was to have a weapon spirit. He didn't expect that the plenilune wordless steel would also have a weapon spirit. And it seemed that the weapon spirit had been sealed by the black lotus for a long time. What was going on? What was this black lotus? Why was it sealed? What else did it seal? In an instant, Lin Xian asked countless questions because he was too puzzled. However, the plenilune wordless steel didn't answer. Instead, it emitted a weak fluctuation again. You leave quickly. You are no match for him. Who is he? Is it the Black Lotus? Or is there someone behind the Black Lotus? Lin Xian asked again. Don't you remember? That's right, you aren't him. The steel shadow in front of him fluctuated again. Lin Xian was even more puzzled. How could I remember it in the past? And who was that him? Successor of the great dragon, leave. I can't let you comprehend it now. The fluctuation in front of him came. Senior, what do I have to do to save you? Lin Xian asked quickly. He had a feeling that this Black Lotus wasn't a good thing. To be precise, the other party wasn't a good thing. Otherwise, it wouldn't have sealed him before. It's useless. You are too weak now. You will know everything when you become stronger. Now that you know, it will only add to your troubles. The steel spirit didn't answer, but urged Lin Xian to leave. Lin Xian gritted his teeth. He wanted to mobilize the mysterious small sword in his body to rush out and destroy the lotus, but he found that he couldn't do it at all. There was no other way. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with determination. In the next moment, he rushed forward as if he wanted to crash into those black lotus. Buzz. This scene naturally caused the black lotus to counterattack. On the moon-gazing wordless steel, many lotus flowers rushed out, wanting to entangle Lin Xian. The mysterious little sword in Lin Xian's body trembled once again. A sword light rushed out and destroyed many of the lotuses that approached. Just like that, Lin Xian used his own body as a guide to mobilize the mysterious little sword in his body, and finally cut off a small half of the lotus flower. But soon his little face turned cold, because he realized that it was useless. What was cut off now was just a drop in the ocean. The spirit of the wordless mountain-gazing steel was still shrouded by the black lotus. You were actually able to kill it. The boulder spirit of the wordless mountain-gazing boulder shuddered. It did not expect Lin Xian to have such an ability. Senior, don't worry. Give me some time, and I'll be able to completely exterminate these lotuses. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. It's useless. Although you have a great treasure, your strength is too weak. You can't destroy it now, let alone save me. Unexpectedly, there was still hope. Senior, what exactly is this thing? Lin Xian continued to ask. The boulder spirit did not answer. Instead, it muttered to itself. Last time, I placed my hopes on someone, thinking that he could save me from the abyss of suffering. But now that you're here, I know that he failed. Last time. Lin Xian's heart thumped wildly. Could it be that it was talking about Yi Gucheng? Because only Yi Gucheng had comprehended the wordless mountain-gazing boulder. In the past tens of thousands of years, no one else had been able to comprehend it. It was definitely talking about Yi Gucheng. Indeed, the boulder spirit sent out a fluctuation. His name was indeed Yi Gucheng, and he was also the successor of the great dragon. It was indeed so. Lin Xian sighed. Senior Yi Gucheng had already fallen tens of thousands of years ago. He was besieged by several powerful sages on the ancient path of stars. Countless monstrous geniuses attacked, and in the end, Senior Yi Gucheng fell in that battle. He was the one who attacked. They were the ones who attacked. They didn't want me to break out. The boulder spirit continued to send out fluctuations. This time it seemed to be a little angry. However, it had been sealed for countless years, so its fluctuations were extremely weak. Leave and don't have anything to do with me. Otherwise, sooner or later, you'll end up like Yi Gucheng. They won't let you off. Lin Xian didn't know who the boulder spirit was referring to. However, Lin Xian wouldn't give up. He had to comprehend the wordless mountain-gazing boulder. He quickly said, Senior, even if I leave now, I'm afraid that the way you mentioned won't let me off in the future. Because before this, I already had this mysterious black lotus in my body that sealed my spirit meridians. If I didn't obtain a treasure, I'm afraid that I would still be a cripple and unable to cultivate it all. What? You actually have such a thing in your body too? This time, it was the boulder spirit's turn to be shocked. It really didn't expect that Lin Xian would be in the same situation as it. However, the other party broke free in the end. Could it be that it was fate? The boulder spirit sent out a violent fluctuation. I was originally in despair, but I didn't expect you to appear. Alright, I'll bet again. I bet that you can succeed. Lin Xian knew that the boulder spirit didn't mean that he would succeed in comprehending the wordless mountain-gazing boulder. It meant that in the future, he would fight his way to the top on the ancient path of stars. He would avoid ending up like Yi Gucheng. Lin Xian clenched his fists. Senior, don't worry, I won't die. Since you're also their target, they won't let you off even if I don't impart something to you. Since that's the case, I naturally have to impart something to you. The boulder spirit's fluctuation also became excited. Obviously, it saw hope. However, upon hearing this fluctuation, the surrounding black lotus suddenly bloomed with a demonic light. Demonic aura filled the sky and covered the entire chaotic void. It completely engulfed Lin Xian and the boulder spirit. In the outside world, A month had passed and everyone was still waiting patiently. The first elder and the peak master of the full moon peak had a trace of excitement in their eyes. After such a long time, Lin Xian still hadn't failed. Could it be that he really could succeed? The other elders of the heavenly sect. The crowd began to discuss among themselves. Huangfu Beitian let out a sigh. As a matter of fact, he had never placed anyone in his eyes at the full moon peak. However, Lin Xian had now given him a great shock and a great blow. He did not expect Qin Nan to be able to persist for so long. Qin Nan had completely surpassed him. He could not help but be impressed. On the other side, the black demon clenched his teeth and trembled. His eyes were bloodshot. He was going crazy from jealousy. Damn it! How could this kid persist for so long? He should have failed long ago. That's right, he failed in 10 days. Huangfu Beitian failed in 15 days, but now a month had passed and Qin Nan was still able to persist. Chapter 3061. As expected of the successor of the great dragon. He can hold on for so long. The other three peak leaders discussed in low voices. Qing Wu curled her lips in dissatisfaction. That guy is really holding on. The North Beast's eyes shone with a cold light. Holding on doesn't mean that he can successfully comprehend it. However, it seems that the kid has a high chance of succeeding. Yu Linglong and Han Fei were also watching silently. If Lin Xian succeeded in comprehending it, then he would be a great enemy to them. Therefore, they had to witness his success with their own eyes. Just like that, another day passed. Suddenly, Lin Xian's body trembled slightly. Large beads of sweat dripped from his forehead, and his face became abnormally pale. There was no trace of blood. Oh no, that kid is in danger. Many people exclaimed. The first elder's heart instantly jumped. The full moon peak's peak leader took a deep breath. There were endless laws in his eyes. The great Tao surged under his feet. It was obvious that he was feeling extremely uneasy. Big brother Lin Xian. Shen Jingqiu was extremely nervous. The dark rainbow divine dragon also screamed. Impossible, that kid can't fail. This doesn't make sense. Is the result going to be out? In the distance, the North Beast, Yu Linglong, Han Fei, and the others were watching nervously. Huangfu Beitian sighed when he saw this scene. He was very familiar with this scene. The last time he failed, it was the same situation that happened. Could it be that Lin Xian is going to fail too? Ha ha ha, I knew that kid wouldn't succeed. The black demon's lips curled into a cold smile. However, he was ecstatic in his heart. If the peak leader wasn't still here, he would have thrown his head back and laughed. Great, is he finally going to fail too? No one else can get what I can't get. Everyone watched nervously. Lin Xian's body trembled. His face was pale, and he could lose at any time. However, he didn't open his eyes or vomit blood. Just like that, his body trembled and he persisted for another 3 days. During these 3 days, the elders of the full moon peak spent their days on tenterhooks. The others were also extremely nervous. The black demon was so angry that he vomited blood. Damn it! Why is it like this? How could this brat still persist? The way he saw it, the other party was trembling and his face was pale. He was already on the verge of collapse and would soon be defeated. However, the other party had persisted for 3 days. He hadn't come out yet. This scene was truly unbelievable to him. This guy's willpower was really formidable. Huangfu Beitian exclaimed. The North Beast, Yu Linglong, and Han Fei were also shocked. What they did not know was that Lin was currently experiencing a great battle, a battle of life and death. Amidst the chaotic nothingness, the black lotus blossomed with a demonic light that covered the sky and the earth. It completely enveloped Lin Xian and the tablet spirit. The monument spirit resisted with all its might. It had been sealed all these years, but it was still able to survive. At this moment, Black Lotus was exerting its power, and he could not exert much power. At the same time, it was very worried that Lin Xian was sealed here. If that was really the case, then his last hope would be gone. Fortunately, although Lin Xian was surrounded by layers of black lotuses, he was not sealed. There was an aura in the other party's body that blocked the black lotus. It could even destroy these black lotuses. The monument spirit knew that there was no time to lose. It had to impart its inheritance to the other party. Finally, it gathered all its power and shot out a ray of black light that entered Lin Xian's glabella. What I can give you is not a peerless cultivation technique or a powerful bloodline, but an opportunity. An opportunity to comprehend heaven and earth. It is like a seed that has taken root and sprouted in your body. Now you can leave. Thank you, Senior. I will definitely comprehend it as soon as possible and become a sage. When the time comes, I will come back and destroy these black lotuses. No, come back after becoming a Dharch. At least a boundary Dharch. Otherwise, don't come here again. They will definitely be vigilant after letting you escape this time. In the future, you must be more careful on the ancient starry sky path. A boundary Dharch? I understand. Lin Xian nodded solemnly. Then he felt a huge force pushing him out. Outside, everyone was waiting anxiously. The Full Moon Peak's Peak Master, the Grand Elder, and many prodigies were all looking at Lin Xian. Lin Xian had been trembling for 3 days. Would he succeed? Or would he fail? It was the last moment. Buzz. Suddenly, Lin Xian's body stopped trembling. There was even a layer of hazy black light emitting from his body, carrying a primordial aura that shocked everyone. Could it be? Everyone opened their mouths wide in disbelief. Many people held their breaths. Could it be that this kid succeeded? Impossible. Damn it, he can't succeed. The black demon roared in his heart. The Grand Elder, the Full Moon Peak's Peak Master, and the others were extremely excited. It seemed that this kid was about to wake up. Did he succeed? It was unlikely. After all, no one had been able to comprehend it for tens of thousands of years. Even if he was the successor of the Great Dragon, there was probably only a 10% chance. It was just that he would not be injured like Huangfu Beitian and the Black Demon. It seemed that was indeed the case. The Full Moon Peak was really unlucky this time. No one could comprehend the full moon wordless steel. It was impossible for them to make a comeback. They would always be at the bottom of the 4 peaks. The people from the other 3 peaks sneered. Although they had failed, they were incomparably happy. Hearing this, the elders, prodigies, and powerhouses of the Full Moon Peak were disappointed. Even Lin Xian was going to fail? Then was there really no hope for them? After all, Lin Xian was the successor of the Great Dragon of this generation. More importantly, as soon as he came to the Full Moon Lake, he caused the 9 heavy waves, exactly the same as Yi Guqing back then. Furthermore, he had only been in the Moon Palace for 2 hours, and he had already condensed the Moon Soul. He had already surpassed Yi Guqing. Even so, he could not comprehend the full moon wordless steel. They could not believe it. The Full Moon Peak's Peak Master had a solemn expression. The other 3 Peak Masters also sighed. They had also guessed why the full moon wordless steel was so difficult to comprehend. Although it was difficult in the past, there were also peerless geniuses who could comprehend it. However, in the past tens of thousands of years, no one could comprehend it. At that time, they had used all their means, and even the old mansion master had come. However, in the end, they were unable to completely discover the secret of the full moon wordless steel. However, the old mansion master said that there seemed to be some problems with the full moon wordless steel. What exactly was the problem? Until now, these people did not know. If Lin Xian was really defeated, it meant that the problem with the full moon wordless steel was getting worse and worse. From now on, no one would be able to comprehend it. As for the Moongazer wordless steel, it would become a useless steel, and would no longer have any use. Chapter 3062. However, it only existed for a moment before disappearing. But in the next moment, Lin Xian opened his eyes. The aura on his body erupted and shot into the sky. In his left eye, a golden moon appeared. It was extremely terrifying, and an incomparably terrifying moon soul power emerged. As soon as this power appeared, everyone in the surroundings trembled. What a pure moon soul power. Damn it, how could this kid's moon soul be so powerful? He had only been here for a few months. Everyone went crazy, and those elders were also discussing. The first elder was stunned, and in the next moment, he became excited. The full moon peak's peak master's eyes burst out with a piercing cold light. Around him, endless laws danced, turning into the image of dragons and phoenixes. Could it be that the other party succeeded? Such a thought appeared in their minds. Because previously, when Huangfu Beitian and Heimo failed, their faces were pale and they vomited blood. But now, although Lin Xian opened his eyes, he was not injured at all. Not only that, but a mysterious aura and terrifying runes appeared on his body, as well as this powerful moon soul. This was definitely the scene of success. According to the records of the House of Prodigy, when Yi Gucheng succeeded, it seemed to be the same scene. Could it be that this kid really succeeded? What? How was this possible? Exclamations and screams sounded one after another. This kid was going to defy the heavens. He was going to poke a hole in the sky. How many tens of thousands of years had he finally comprehended something that no one had comprehended? Was he still human? This kid could no longer be described with words. Everyone was stunned. At this moment, the first elder was excited, and the peak master laughed loudly. Yi Fei, Xueling, Wang Ji, and the others exclaimed. Huangfu Beitian was also stunned. Did he succeed? He did not expect Lin Xian to succeed. Heimo, who was at the side, directly spat out a mouthful of old blood and fainted. He fainted from anger because he had never expected that the other party would succeed. Did this guy really succeed? After tens of thousands of years, someone had comprehended the full moon wordless stele. The other three peak masters were also extremely shocked. Although they were already sages, this matter still shocked them. Their hearts that had been calm for thousands of years were also surging. Ha 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 ha, great. There's finally hope for my full moon peak. The peak master of Full Moon Peak also laughed heartily. The first elder and the other elders were trembling with excitement. Yi Fei, Xueling, Luya and the others gathered around. Did you really comprehend the Moongazer wordless stele? What kind of miraculous cultivation technique was that? Can you describe it? Can you use it now? These people were chattering. The black demon had woken up and was also watching anxiously. He gritted his teeth and said, "Damned kid, I don't believe that you've really comprehended it." Lin Xian glanced at the black demon and said indifferently, "Of course I comprehended it. You don't say, it's really magical. As for using it? Not now, this place is too small. When I have the chance, I will show it to you personally." Hearing Huang Xiaolong's words, Xueling, Yi Fei, and the rest were stunned. The corner of Huangfu Beitian's mouth twitched as he sighed. Black Demon was so angry that he spat out another mouthful of blood. In the end, he felt like he was going crazy. Who would have thought that this little fellow would actually be able to comprehend it? Congratulations. The other three Peak Masters came to congratulate the Full Moon Peak Master. The Full Moon Peak Master laughed. This was an unexpected surprise. Speaking of this, his eyes shone brightly. You guys have been living too comfortably for the past few years. This time, I will show you the strength of the Full Moon Peak. Hearing this, the Ethereal Peak Master laughed. Don't be too proud. Although this little fellow has obtained the qualifications, it won't be easy for him to comprehend it completely. As for the competition between the four peaks, it wouldn't be long before it began. It won't be easy for them to make a comeback then. Indeed, Lin Xian wouldn't be able to comprehend it in such a short period of time. Even Yi Guqing didn't manage to comprehend it completely. Otherwise he wouldn't have died. However, while the Ethereal Peak didn't care, the Divine Strategy Peak felt the pressure. Lin Xian was too much of a freak and too strong. He might really be able to make it to the top in the competition between the four peaks. Although he might not be able to get first place, it wasn't impossible for him to get third place. This way, the Divine Strategy Peak would be at the bottom. The Divine Strategy Peak would never allow such a thing to happen. The Divine Strategy Peak Master's eyes flickered. The elders and Sky Prides clenched their fists. They had to go into seclusion during this period of time, so that they could prepare for the upcoming battles and competitions. Hearing the words of the Peak Masters, the other Sky Pride's eyes lit up. Lin Xian raised his head and clenched his fists. The competition between the four peaks? That's good too. I can see how the geniuses of the other peaks are like. At the same time, his gaze pierced through the clouds and looked into the distance. At this moment, the full moon peak was slowly closing, and the full moon wordless monument was gradually disappearing into the shadows of the mountain. Don't worry, senior. I will come back to save you one day, Lin Xian said in his heart. This was the agreement between him and the monument spirit. In the sky, the laws danced and the four peak masters disappeared. The Grand Elder and the other elders also left. This was because they had to make preparations for the upcoming competition between the four peaks. Only the young sky prides and monsters were left in this world. Instantly, countless gazes fell on Lin Xian. There was envy and jealousy. It couldn't be helped. No one had managed to comprehend the full moon wordless monument for tens of thousands of years. And this guy had managed to do it. It really made people jealous to death. The black demon had already fainted a few times. Huangfu Beitian was also extremely envious. Even the northern monster, Yu Linglong, and Han Fei had strange gazes. Had the other party's talent surpassed theirs? As peerless sky prides, they were unwilling to admit such a thing. Qingwu was even more furious. She came in front of Lin Xian and said in a sweet voice, "You are so lucky to be able to comprehend the full moon wordless monument. Hurry up and show it to me. Let me see how powerful this legendary thing is." Hearing this, everyone's interest was piqued. That's right. The full moon wordless monument was so legendary. How powerful was it? None of them knew. The people from the other three peaks were the same. They also wanted to know how different the full moon wordless monument was compared to the sky monument of their peaks. The corners of Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile as he looked at the fuming little girl. He said indifferently, "This is a peerless superpower. How can I let you see it so easily? This is my trump card. Moreover, this place is too small. Wait until the competition between the four peaks. At that time, you will see it in the competition arena." Hearing this, everyone exclaimed. Qingwu was furious. "Damn it, don't be so arrogant. What are you so proud of? Even if you comprehend the full moon wordless monument, you can't beat my brother this time." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.